Allow me to introduce myself. Who knows what dastardly crime might perpetrate next? He's a very clever arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of suicidal maniac.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. I've been on the air for 2 weeks, and I just want to say peace and love to everybody. I deserved a vacation. Did I deserve a vacation? I've been battling and fighting people on the online for a while. Oh, Bayasa, I forgot. I got to play that song. I forgot that. I forgot that song. I got to play that song every time I go live. Hold on. How do I do this?
Wise man told me, watch for the fakes and the phonies. You gotta be cautious, listen and open your conscience. People be talking that nonsense, chattering, that's when the daggers are stopping. Okay,
this is what we gonna do.
Speak the truth, speak the truth.
People need to understand this.
Straight shot, no I can't miss.
Or you just talking.
Never, I do this here often.
One of the biggest mistakes
you ever can make is
disrespecting the
greatness.
You may have never heard this before.
One more for the playlist, tell them what it.
All right. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Share the show, like the show. We're going to talk about a couple of things today. And I got to say something, man. I know there's something that's going on in the community that we need to talk about. My man Tazariak is around here like Frank Lucas, yo. Yo, my man is like Frank Lucas around here for the Hebrew Israelite community, man. I'm going to start calling him Mr. Frank Lucas, a.k.a. Tazariak. Like whatever he says has to go in the community. And that's my brother for life, man. But boy, oh boy. Yo, he's like Frank Lucas, man. I tell you, man. I feel like I'm watching Hoodlum, man. Yo, let me say this, man. Oh, to the brother that said it, I thought I'm doing second Esdras. I changed it to September 7th. The reason is I'm trying to, you see what happened is with second Esdras, it destroys the Hebrew Israelite movement. Once you eliminate second Esdras, and people say, why? How you do that, Garfield? Because a couple of things. And let me just bring up an example and I'll show you why. If you eliminate Arzareth, right? If you eliminate second Esdras, you eliminate Arzareth, you eliminate the prophecies. If it's just a regular writing, Jewish literature, you eliminate a lot of things because Arzareth has to be America where the lost tribes went, the 10 tribes or the 9 tribes went. So if you eliminate the Assyrian exile that they left and they went there, or if you eliminate second Esdras, you eliminate 95% of the Hebrew Israelite movement and the doctrine. So what happened is I've been testing out second Esdras on Clubhouse because most of the time I just bring up arguments to hear what people would say and all that stuff because, you know, I'm actually writing a book, 100 Reasons Why the Hebrew Israelites Are Wrong. And I'm looking for new arguments. So whenever I'm looking for new arguments, and let me just do this for the beloved brother that just asked a question because I want to respect everybody that comes in. We're going to get into Trump and Epstein. Everybody, we're going to get in deep into that. I'm going to play a couple of videos. We're going to have a talk. What happened is Hebrew Israelites, say for example, Priest Daniela. Priest Daniela is a true believer in the Most High. I do believe this brother believes in that imaginary deity that he thinks is listening to him. I believe Yawasap also. I believe Corey. I believe Joel. I believe Tazara. They all believe that the Most High is going to return and kill white people. I think they genuinely believe that. They think it's black and white. And black people are going to rule white people and enslave them. They really, truly believe Esau is the white man. So what happened is, because I don't hold to a specific religion in public, because I hold to the position that no one should tell anybody what they believe in, because you're not looking for followers, because no two people should have the same connection to the deity. So if I pray to the Most High God, right, and you pray to the Most High, we shouldn't have the same type of connection. If you do, that is called a cult. That's a cult. I don't want to be a part of anybody's cult. All right. All right. Let me do this real quickly for the people that believe Arzareth is whatever. What happened is Arzareth is an easy debunking thing. It's easy to debunk. It's simple. Arzareth is actually the two words combined, right? But let me just share my screen and just show you this quick thing about Arzareth and all that stuff. Second Esdras. Just for the brother that asked that question, I wanna show him. This is an example, right? Where people can take things out of context. There is a sister that I love on Clubhouse named Sister Hurricane. She made a presentation one day, right? And I said, you know what? It's on her channel. I don't want to say anything. But every time Arzareth comes up, she's like, Garfield was in the audience. He said nothing. He was quiet. Listen, family. They believe, and some people believe, I don't know how. Some people believe, watch this. Dirty Sanchez mustache. Why do you have a dirty Sanchez mustache? Why are you watching my... I hope you're a female, Fino. I hope you're a female. Now watch this. If you look at this right here, this says Claudius Ptolemy the Geography. He documented Arzareth in 150 AD, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we have no records at all of Arzareth being mentioned at that time, 2nd century. But let's just say it was written in the 1st century, right? Like that scholars say, right? Look at the word that's right here. It says Asarath. But guess what? When you look up Asarath that he's talking about, it's a river. But kill me dead, Mika. This is the Arzareth. It's in Algeria. It's in Africa. It's a river. Arzareth is not a river. But if somebody took the time to research, they're so horrible at researching. Shout out to Priest Daniel. I said, Golf, you all talk about you a good researcher. Yeah, I'm a hell of a researcher, nigga. I let niggas change their doctrines. That's what I do. I don't need to lie on a text. So this right here, they said Asarath is Arzareth. So he's talking about Arzareth. This is how silly these people are. Asarath is a river. It's not even the same word. But what the person did was Google. And this guy, crazy guy, this Kataza, who's one of the liars of the community, continued to teach lies to bring people into their doctrine and come join our gang. Our gang is the better gang. See, look at this right here. Claudius Ptolemy in his book, The Geography, written way before anything the Hebrew Israelites used in 150 AD, states Arzareth is in Africa. He said Asarath. What is Asarath? Atharas is not Arzareth. It's a river. It's a effing river. But when you tell them, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And then they want to have an attitude with you when you point out it. Because one of the worst things, you see, Garfield don't have the name priest on him. I'm not a minister. So I don't have to appear to be perfect. I could make mistakes. And I'm willing to accept my errors. But you, if your name is priest or captain or whatever, we want to argue like we have to be perfect, because guess what? If you're a priest, you're guided by the Most High. So if you're wrong, your community gonna look at you like, yo, bro, you wrong on that. You wrong on that. It's mad shit. I have a thousand things I could bring out about Priest Daniela, about Gorilla Hebrew, about Captain Tazaria, Kataza, Yawasap. I could bring out 1,000 things. And they're gonna say I'm picking on the Israelites. I'm pointing out that y'all research skills is garbage. It's really garbage if you really look at it, because there's no one. You see, and you know what happened? You have too many dishonest Israelites. What's his name? Divine Prospect knows some of the shit that they teach is garbage. But he won't come out and tell them for brotherly love, because y'all ain't Israelites. If y'all all was Israelites, y'all would change your name to the saying, hey, Israelites. Like what Captain Tazarek said. Captain said, I don't rather use the name Hebrew Israelite or Hebrew. I'd rather just call me what I am. I'm an Israelite. Why don't all of y'all change y'all camp to Israelite and unite? You know why? because all of y'all are confused. That's the problem. Just like the Christian community. Why everybody not, I'm a Christian? Why don't you just say I'm a Christian? Why you have to be Jesus out of Christ, inner Christ, 7 day, this, that, da, 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 da? Because y'all confused. Be confused no more. Y'all confused. Then Garfield, oh, you garbage. Hey, let me tell you something, man. None of y'all can research like me. And I could say it with my chest out. Let's take a look at what Asarath is. We're going to take a look at what Azar is. I want y'all to look at this. I just did a simple Google search. Let me take this off the screen for a second. Let me take that off the screen. Yeah, stop lying to black people. I want y'all to look at this simple Google search. This is all y'all could do. See right here? It's on the screen. Look at this right here. The name Atharas from Ptolemy likely refers to the ancient river Atharas mentioned in what? Ptolemy's geographical work, specifically in his geography. It's not Azareth, it's a river. Asarath River. Look at this right here. Look at Pleiades.org. Atharas, an ancient river of North Africa, placed by Ptolemy. The Atharas is probably to be identified with the modern Oid Nil in Algeria. So the person was saying Atharas is in Algeria, it's in Africa. So what are you doing in America then? If Artharas second Esdras is true and Artharas is in Africa, how is America? Bruh, I don't even want to go there. This is their doctrine. Not everybody teaches this, but their doctrine is just so easily debunked. That's why I love talking about Israelites. Because you know when you have something and you're like, yo, I could beat these people up morning, noon, and night. And then it's confusing because you have some Israelites who don't, some claimants who are just normally those regular people that we see on the street who don't hold to this one West doctrine. But let me show y'all one more thing. Let's see if I could find it real quick. Let me see if I could find it. Hold on, is this it right here? Hold on there. Hold on, let me go up here. Look at this right here. Every time they want to talk about anything, they run to the Negro stuff with the Negro. They run to the Zondervan. Look at the Zondervan. It clearly tells you second Esdras was written during the intertestamental period around 90 AD. Tell any of them to show you a source that says it was written 5th century BC by Ezra. We don't even know if Ezra is a real person. We don't even know that. We don't know. Nobody knows. If you read academia about Ezra or anybody, any scholar, they don't know if Ezra is a real person. Nobody knows. Thank you, Asiatic 77. Azareth is a land. But look at this now. If you remove second Esdras, guess what? They can't say America. Look at this guy right here. Hey, I love you, Anton Hayes. You watch me because I talk about you. Talk about me. This is the issue. Garfield is not the issue. The issue, you're teaching black people misinformation. That is the issue. The issue is not Garfield. Fix your doctrine. You see, this is the simplest way an Israelite could do it. I want to follow the laws of the Most High. Boom. Garfield don't have no argument with you. But what we do is they go on Clubhouse and they talk about Christians 24/7. But when anybody talk about them, oh, you got to talk about us. You got to talk. No, the issue is here. So Anton Haynes, I'm shadowboxing. The link is right here. Press the link. And I put the clock on. Put the clock on. Let's go. None of y'all can stand up in front of Garfield with this doctrine. None of y'all. All of y'all. And you know what too? I got my debates. I'm lining up because I think I got 2 debates for Captain. I got 1 for Genesis. I got 1 for Dre. I'm trying to get Trilla in the ring to debate somebody. I got absolute Bible truth. I got my brother, Priest Daniel. I'm going to set up that King James debate. We need to get that out of the way, because once you get that out of the way, the dominoes are going to start falling. Anton James, you are punking out. We could go back and forth 2 minutes each. You get 2 minutes, I get 2 minutes. We do it for 10 minutes and we good. Shout out to Courtney Thompson. Peace and love, my brother. They are hypocrites. They only like sources that agrees with them. This source says Second Esdras was written around 90 AD. Between 90 and 100 AD. Chapters 3 to 14. What do you say? What do you say? And you know what's crazy about the Second Esdras? In the King James Version, it claims Jesus' name. Why would Ezra write about Jesus? It doesn't say that in the other versions, the versions that are older. But in this version in King James, why would Second Esdras mention Jesus? This alone gives you a problem. And then what he does, he said, and they remain shall rejoice within 400 years, because after these years shall my son Christ die, and all men that have life. Now, what is Jesus, the word Jesus, doing in Esdras? That must have you thinking to yourself like, whoa, if they're talking about Jesus, that means it must be somebody. There's nobody in the Old Testament that mentions Jesus by name. Just like that. Come on. We got to start thinking. Then on top of it, in the older versions, it don't even say 10 tribes. It says 9 tribes. And it don't say Salmanasar either. It says another king, Sennacherib. That's who it says. It don't say Salmanasar. They changed that. If you go to the older versions. Bro, my Second Esdras research is deep. I'm waiting for somebody to step up and say, I want to debate Garfield. That's why I'm kind of delaying. I don't want to put stuff out. But the point is, they don't want to research it, because this research is going to lead them to move away from Second Esdras and the Arzaras argument. Because what I found out is that Akiva and the other rabbi was arguing in the 1st century, and they were arguing about where the lost tribes were. And it seems like the person who wrote, this is what some scholars have concluded, that whoever wrote Second Esdras was reading Akiva and the other rabbi Eleazar debating about where the 10 tribes were going, because they used the same scripture, Deuteronomy, I think 29:27, where it talks about another land, the same word, and they just made it a compound word and made it Arzareth instead of actually what the word was. You guys are playing games, lying to people for them to join your club. That's all it is. I want you to join my club because my club is smarter than your club. That's all it is. That's all it is. Nothing else. There's nothing else, because what purpose does it serve? It don't serve no purpose. Who does it serve? Who does it serve? Arthur is not an actual place name, but is instead a corruption of 2 Hebrew words, Eretz Aheret, which simply means another land. That's all it means. It couldn't be a river in Algeria. It's going to be a land per se. If you really believe it's a land where no one has inhabited. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, in the 1st century, every land on earth that you call today a country was inhabited. 5th century BC, America was inhabited. So now they want to argue with Garfield. Oh, we don't believe how this was dated or that was dated. You didn't argue with the people with the Misha stele when it says 9th century BC. You never argue with the people when it says Sumerians were living in 3000 BC and all. You don't argue with none of those. We play too many games with black people's lives for them to join our club. And I must say this though, out of all the groups, although me and Priest Daniel go at it, the only group, one group I would definitely join is Lions of Israel. And I'm gonna tell you why. If you notice something with Lions of Israel, they're never in any drama. They be people in the land of Israel might go back and forth with people and whatever, but they never in any drama. You never hear, oh, this one baby mother come out and say, this one baby mother come out with this. You never hear, so, oh, this one is playing with this, or this one's have a gay boyfriend. They found out he's gay. You never hear none of that with Lions of Israel. Knock on wood. Priest Daniela, shout out to you. You are a true leader. I got to big him up for that. You never, unless there's something I never heard about. But other groups, I was going to do a show one day called The Hebrew Israelites Falling Apart and show all the drama with them. Just like how they used to show drama with me, I'm going to get the chance to show drama with them. Most Israelites don't associate with online camps. Bro, it just said they left looking for their own land. We don't say America wasn't inhabited. Yeah, it was inhabited with people who developed cultures here, my brother. The Peru culture was well established where Peru is. It wasn't Peru, of course. The Mayan culture, the Olmecs, all of these people had civilization. No, I just admire them because of how they stand and how they are as men in the community. And plus, he pushes something that's one of the most important things for black people, health. 60 to 80% of black women are considered obese. Heart disease is the biggest killer of the black people in the community. Kill over 7,000 people annually. Obesity. He pushes health, and you don't hear no drama. Two things that's full up in the Israelite community. And what happened is, Priest Daniel at one point, you would see making a video like, oh, another shot on the Israelite. You see make a video, right? But I don't know why people feel like they have to defend all these guys that claim to be Israelites. Only support your camp, bro. Because them people not going to show you the same love if they hear nothing about Priest Daniel. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's all I want to say about that. I leave Arthureth alone. Let me get back to this, and we're going to get to some Epstein stuff. And I find a lot of the stuff that I find is that with Epstein, it's very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting with Epstein. All right, let's take a look at some of the videos I'm gonna play. Let me get to my Facebook, see if my Facebook or my Instagram, see if I could log in. I have a video on my timeline. I gotta wonder with people, man. A video on my timeline had 44,000 views. Now, you know what the video was, family? The video was of somebody. Hold on, let me pause this story right here. Yeah, this is me in Jamaica, driving one of them, what they call it? One of them car stuff that you drive in the water. So let me play it back. Hold on there. So that's me in the water driving a car. They got this thing that they have. It's like a, like a jet ski. So they have you drive around in the it's like a car jet ski. So I was joking with the lady that was beside me. I said, you can't drive in America. You can drive regular, but you can't drive on water, which was funny. But anyway, let me get to what you call it? Enough of that. Let me get to my timeline real quick. All right. Peace to everybody. Peace to everybody. Anton Hayes. I know that's a fake profile, but come on anyway. Yeah, rest in peace to Russell Gmerkin. I'm going to do a special for him because his wife wrote me a note. I almost went into tears when she wrote it, man. Oh, man. His wife wrote a message from him. Like, wow. All right. So we're going to get into Trump a little bit, a couple of videos. But I want to show y'all a video on my timeline that got 44,000 views. Why would this video get over 40,000 views, family? This is craziness. So you're telling me black people would rather see somebody die than nothing progressive. This is craziness. Take a look at this video right here. Shout out to Russell Gmerkin, by the way, to one of the who has guided me to the way how I think towards the Old Testament right now. He was definitely a good guy. All right, here we go. Uncover. Okay, hold on. Let me show y'all this video real quick. This video right here. Now this video, family, I'm gonna look at the corner right here. 44,000 views. 44,000 views for what? What is in this video? What? Anton Hayes, if you want to, my brother, come on the panel. See all this. What's up, Esoteric Daydreams? Look at this right here. 44,000 people watch this on my time. What? Well, what happened is the thing sucked him in and spit him out, and he probably died. But I'm just saying, 44,000 watching this video for what reason? What's the purpose of that? Oh, people are weird, yo. That's weird. All right. So let's get to Donald Trump. I'm going to show a couple of clips. This is when I landed in Jamaica right here. Looking like the cool cat that I am. Yeah, I be trolling on my timeline, boy. I be trolling. And I'm going to get to this book right here. This is the book. People always talk about, oh, in West Africa, we have this and da-da-da. The opening to the book, Letters of Medieval Traders. Well, I won't get into that today. I'll get into that another time. This is me in Jamaica at the Bob Marley Museum, taking that picture of Rita Marley. All right. All right, so here we go. This is the first video, first clip.
No one on Epstein's list. How is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not letting it go ever. Ever.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
All of these people are in power now. All of these people could certainly release the quote unquote list. Is it exactly a list? Is it a network of contacts? Is it video footage of people that committed crimes against children? We don't know. And we may never know, which is leading some people to ask the question, like, is Trump actually in the Epstein files? And personally, my take on that is no. But what is your opinion? Because I can't reconcile this Donald Trump with the Trump that we're seeing right now, the Trump that is gaslighting the public right now, the Trump that I voted for across multiple elections. The Epstein scandal is definitely terminal cancer to Trump's MAGA movement. There's no question about that. I actually said to my husband this weekend, we were talking about it, that in order for Trump to get out of this is how bad it is, in order for him to actually make the MAGA base forget this, like potentially move on from Jeffrey Epstein, he would essentially have to come right out and repeal income tax in the United States. And then we would be extremely happy. Everyone would be very happy. And then we'd go, actually, thanks, Trump, but we still remember the Epstein scandal and we want the list. That's how bad it is. There's just no making anybody forget about this Epstein scandal.
You know, I never got more interested in the scandal of Epstein than this week. I mean, and when I look at it, right, and I think about all the things that's going on with Puffy and all these different things, and I say to myself, what is the big deal about this Epstein thing? Why everybody so interested in Epstein?
Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody.
But then the more and more I see videos, and I'm trying to see if these are genuine videos and clips, and I'm saying to myself, hold on a second, let me see something real quick. This got over what? Look at this, family. 83,000 people on my timeline watch this video. This seems like a topic that's ever, people love this damn topic with Trump and Epstein. This could be the downfall of Trump, because I think this guy is just, he's been a president, an asshole president. But check this one out.
This interview.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
And this interview.
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going.
And this interview.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
And they're maybe thinking, why isn't he releasing these? Why is he denying these? Does he have something to hide? I'm going to throw a couple things out there. The first thing I recommend is watching Katie Johnson's affidavit. Here's a quick audio preview.
Donald Trump knew that I was 13 because the first night that I was there, Tiffany actually suggested that she had a whole bunch of different wigs, and I expressed interest in them. I always told her that I would love to walk around with blue hair, and so I tried some on, and there was a blonde wig that she said that looked great on me. So I wore that wig, and Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter. And she said, well, she's 13 as well. So he knew the first time that he saw me.
And if you think that thing with his daughter's a little weird, he also said this.
She does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
And this.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
And this.
Daughter is beautiful. Ivanka, she...
By the way, your daughter.
She's beautiful.
Can I say this? A piece of...
Yeah.
And this. And this. And this about the girls in the pageant he ran.
I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with the now. And
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
you're like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away.
And I think we all probably remember this famous one.
I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the... I can do anything.
So yeah, those are just for your information to come to whatever conclusion you may want to come to.
Wow. This is the president, yo. This is y'all president. Somebody said the FBA president. I wouldn't go that. Well, I don't know about FBA and the president, but that's crazy. Shout out to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Peace and love to that brother. Rest in peace. Let me get to this other video right here.
Whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not? Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether or not you're approving it, sir.
No, it's not a question whether I'm approving it. It's not a question whether I'm approving it. Mr. Trump, you know, in the history of this country where we've heard this discussion before, they don't look Jewish to me.
Oh, really?
They don't look Indian to me. They don't look Italian to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a test for whether people could go into business or not go into business, whether they could get a bank loan. You're too black. You're not black enough.
Yep. That's y'all president, man. Well, this is for the immigration talk later, but let's look at Epstein and
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Let's replay this for the people in the back.
You ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Whoa. Wow. Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, man. Look at all them little kids. Wow. Let me see. I think I got one more I got to play. Here we go. It's the last one here.
Committee was in session, but some of the Republicans went on break, and Democrats tricked the Republicans into releasing the Epstein files. So listen, the Oversight Committee was in session, but some of the Republicans went on break and the other Republicans stayed behind, and the Democrats all stayed behind. And they looked to see which Republicans were there, and they knew which Republicans would vote yes and which would vote no for releasing the Epstein files. And they started counting. Oh my God, because some of these Republicans left, they're not going to be here to vote no. Let's do the vote right now. So they forced the vote and they were able to get a yes vote. I was able to speak to the ranking Democratic member from the Oversight Committee, Robert Garcia. Here's our conversation. It sounds like you forced a vote to get the Epstein files released.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we forced a vote. They had no idea it was coming in a committee and oversight. And actually, we got 3 Republicans to actually vote with the 5 Democrats in the subcommittee. And they voted to subpoena the Epstein files. James Comer, the chairman, has agreed to sign that subpoena. And so in the next few days, there will be a subpoena to the DOJ to get the full unredacted Epstein files. They are coming to Congress.
How did you manage to get Republicans to do this?
Well, we knew that some of these Republicans on this committee had publicly said that they support the full release. We had pulled all their former quotes and statements. This was a committee full of really MAGA Republicans. And when we put the motion forward, they were not expecting it. They didn't have all their members there. But we knew which ones were actually there in the room. And so we forced the vote, and we got 3 of them to come over to our side. Had they had full attendance, they could have killed this measure.
So then the next question becomes, DOJ gets the subpoena. What?
So DOJ will get the subpoena, and then we've asked Comer to essentially put a 30-day cap on it. We want the documents within 30 days of the issue of the subpoena. The DOJ has a responsibility with a subpoena to release those files. They don't have a choice. They don't have an option. So that is what we're trying to do and get done here. We are excited about this transparency for the American public. But most important, we're committed to justice for these victims. These people did horrific things, and they preyed on young children, on young girls, on women. And so we want justice for them and censure them. And I don't care who's in these files. We don't care who's implicated. I don't care if you're a politician, if you're rich, if you're a billionaire, you're powerful. If you did something wrong, we're going to expose you to the American public and get the truth and ensure that Donald Trump is held accountable for anything he may have done.
So I was speaking with Jasmine Crockett. She's afraid that this month off may be their opportunity to maybe hide some stuff or destroy some evidence.
Look, I mean, obviously that would be highly illegal and would cause, I think, the administration all sorts of other problems. There are a lot of career lawyers and FBI agents at the Department of Justice who are been interacted with these files. I think enough people have probably seen the videos, the files. It's been very difficult, I think, for the DOJ to tamper with them. They should not do that, of course. With Jackson, I agree. We're always concerned. I mean, the Trump administration, they'll do whatever it takes to protect Donald Trump.
Yep. Okay. We back. Yeah, man, that's Donald Trump for you doing this thing, man. Let me get this. Hold on. Let me get my thing right here. What is it I'm doing here? Okay, let me go on my profile real quick. I gotta play one more for y'all right here. Hold on 1 second. Where is the sound? All right. Here we go. Check this out. I got 2 more for y'all. Instagram. Here we go.
File details, Mr. President, 4,725 wire transfers. Let me repeat that. 4,725 wire transfers, adding up to nearly $1.1 billion flowing in and out of just one of Mr. Epstein's bank accounts. If you ask me, that is more than 4,000 potential lines of investigation right there. Hundreds of millions more flowed through other accounts. That's even a lot more to investigate. The file shows that Mr. Epstein used multiple Russian banks, which are now under sanctions, to process payments related to sex trafficking. A lot of the women and girls he targeted came from Russia, Belarus, Turkey, and elsewhere. Treasury's Epstein file details, Mr. President, 4,700.
Last year, you said the Jeffrey Epstein scandal would have no political impact at all on Trump's election chances. And you were right about that. It didn't. But it's certainly impacting his presidency. It's divided the MAGA base. Many conservatives are furious with him and his administration. Trump, of course, is a former close friend of Epstein's. They're furious at him for not releasing the Epstein files as he promised he would. Is it because, as Elon Musk has said, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files?
No, absolutely not. He's in the files. A lot of people in the files. This is if there was something in the files that was particularly damning about Donald Trump, the files would have been released by the Biden administration.
No, not if it was damning about Bill Clinton as well. Not if it was damning about.
Can I please just okay? If it was really damning about Donald Trump, they would have released at least that part. My guess is, and it's an educated guess, is that it's particularly damning of very important people on both sides of the political aisle, which is why Trump doesn't want to release it, and why Biden didn't release it either. If it was just about Trump, it would have come out.
You were the chief of staff when Epstein apparently died by suicide in prison. You were. Yeah, we checked.
So.
Trump at the time baselessly suggested that Bill Clinton might have killed him, as he does.
Baselessly?
Okay. You think Bill Clinton might have killed him? Okay. Just checking. I don't know how.
Is Bill Clinton on the list?
I mean, you were chief of staff at the time. You didn't come out and correct him, so maybe you do share that insane view.
Not my job.
That literally is your job as chief of staff.
No.
You just said earlier, the chief of staff controls information coming to Donald Trump. Who told him that Bill Clinton killed him?
It's not the job of the chief of staff to correct the president of the United States. And as between who knows the job of the chief of staff, you know a lot about a lot. You don't know a lot about.
But you just told me the definition was to protect Donald Trump. So you failed.
The job of the president of the United States is to make sure he gets good information.
And he failed because someone told him that Bill Clinton killed Jeffrey Epstein, and you didn't protect him from that.
Did they tell him?
Yeah, he retweeted a post saying that Bill Clinton could have killed him.
So again,
I mean, you're saying you didn't see any of the video stuff. You weren't involved. This doesn't rise to the level of chief of staff or the White House, and yet
you care more about helping America.
They was going. So the Democrats.
Oh, let's have a laugh. Let's have a laugh right here.
A couple boys on the back of it.
In the back of the truck?
Yeah, in the bed of the truck with some beer cans. Let's pop out with these guys and see what they got going on.
Copy that.
No. Hey, tell them to hang out real quick. Hey. Okay. Okay.
I don't even want to ask what that was.
Some hillbilly shit.
Are they throwing these cans at you?
Yeah, they're chucking cans, but the fat boy in the back is hilarious. He's trying to hold on for dear life.
Oh my god. I'm missing a whole show.
Trying to stay ahead of the dust.
Yeah, we're getting dusted out bad by both of you.
Fat boy in the back looks like he's about to lose it, bro.
Dude, he will ruin your truck if he falls out.
Oh, how you gonna get out of the truck now? How you gonna get out of the back of the truck, big boy?
That was funny as hell. That was funny. That was funny. That was hilarious. But yeah, man. Shout out to the people in the chat, True Story, and each one teach one. All right, so this brother has been feeding for my attention the whole day. Look at this guy right here. Okay, that's all in the monk because I heard him as well. Garfield, you can't prove all Israelites in Africa were and are converts. I'll take that debate. Every human being that claims some sort of Judaism is a convert. Every single one of them. Because guess why? We didn't have a Torah law that was statewide in Israel. It wasn't available in Israel. So the Torah wasn't put together until later on after the Persian period to the Hellenistic period. So if people left Israel, they wouldn't have known the Torah. So how are you identifying them if there's nothing for them to go by? These are those regular people that live there, that ate pork, that ate catfish, that ate all type of stuff, homosexuality. If you go to 2 Kings 23:7, let's take a look real quick. Golf, you gonna put out a scripture for you real quick. 2 Kings 23 verse 7. Let me go to Bible Hub. Let me make this big so you could see it on the screen. This is what y'all used to do. 2 Kings, this is what 2 Kings says, Mr. I know everything. So let's go. Come jump on and prove to me that the Israelites are original Israelites that follow the laws when there was no laws at all. He also taught, no, I won't say there was no laws at all. We don't have no evidence. No evidence has been provided that there's in archaeological or historical that these people had actual laws that they follow throughout the cities or throughout the country or whatever. He also tore down the quarters of the male shrine prostitutes that were in the temple of the Lord, the quarters where women did weaving for Asherah. So this is Bati business, what I'm upon. Let's go to the JPS Tanakh. See what the JPS Tanakh says. And we're going to go to the Septuagint. This is what your Bible says they were doing. And he brought down the houses of the Sodomites that were in the house of the Lord. What is the house of the Lord? The Jerusalem temple, where the women walk around. And look at what the Septuagint said. And he pulled down the house of the Sodomites that were by the house of the Lord, where the women wove tents. So some said that they were inside. So they were Sodomites, men who love men. This is stuff that was going on in Babylon, throughout Babylon. But it looks like the Jerusalem temple was like a bordello. A bordello. You know what a bordello is, my friend? Look it up. So this is what they were doing. So if they brought that lifestyle, to Africa, then I could say the Israelites. So jump on. The link is pinned. Let's go. Let's get it. Oh, the Umar video. Umar, they said Umar is asking for money. I don't know. Did I say? I think I saved it on Instagram. Hold on. Let me take a look at that real quick. Let me get that Instagram video real quick. Come on in, Umar. Come on down. So if you want to have a conversation, let's have the conversation right now. Let's jump. The pin, it's pinked. Nobody's running from your challenge. Let's go. Let's go. Black people, stop lying to black people. That's the bottom line. Stop it. Stop it. Because, oh, my belief says so. No, you're wrong. You're wrong for misleading black people down the wrong path. You're wrong. Come on, Anton Hayes. Don't run, bro. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Do you running from my challenge? No, there's not that one. Every single person who follows some sort of stuff with the Bible is a convert. Everybody. Because remember, the Bible is put together in different time period, but the person who decided to combine it together and make those 24, those 39 books be the canon, remember, that wasn't decided until later on. So that didn't exist. So if you're basing your belief off those 39 books or 24 in the Torah or in the Tanakh, then you are basing it off what somebody invented or put together after 2nd century BC. Because what they're finding, because when I tell you it's 10,000, you're going to freeze up. Oh my God. JJ 7,000. No, I'm not having a conversation with JJ 7,000. That's not happening. That's not happening. It makes no sense. Not interested. Have a good day. You could argue with yourself in the chat. Waste of time. But let me get Umar in here. They said to put the Umar tape in here. And to my brother, there's no such thing as small hat. I'm not calling anybody small hat. I'm not calling anybody I truly don't want to call anybody a black Hebrew Israelite because everybody is in the box for me. That's the problem. Yeah, you could say I fear you. I'm not having a conversation with you. You lost that capability years ago.
Right now. Because my personal account contains all of my money. I only send it to Apple Pay and PayPal.
This is my estate.
Dr. Umar has access to no money right now because my personal account contains all of my money. I only send it to Apple Pay and PayPal as necessary. So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifatunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled so I can get my money back and open up a new account, please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal. My personal PayPal account is Umar the Psychologist at yahoo.com. So that's paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist, paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist, paypal.me/UMARTHEPSYCHOLOGIST, paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist, or hit my Apple Pay using my cell number 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. I've never asked the people for $1. I have never asked the people for $1 in my life. I have never asked the people for $1 in my life. I've only asked you to donate to the FDMG Academy for Boys. I don't have any sons. I have 2 daughters. So the FDMG campaign is a selfless project, mission, and service to provide our boys with the education that they deserve. But right now, I don't have any money because my account was frozen by my bank because someone has been trying to hack into my account, hack into FDMG Academy account. So the FDMG Academy account is frozen. My personal account is also frozen. That means we're going to lapse on our utility bills. We're going to lapse on our internet bill. We're going to lapse on a lot of our bills at FDMG. The bank is not giving me a timeline as to when the situation is going to be resolved. Dr. Umar has access to no money right now because my personal account
I don't know what to say at this point. Umar had a video where he's showing like a classroom that he has constructed. The issue is that he's gonna end up doing all of this and building up all these things and never get approved to run a school and say, see, I made the school. And the issue is he has problems and he went about this the wrong way from the jump, and he should have just been upfront. Umar, I think it's hard for people to trust you at all with anything. And it's I don't know what to say. I don't want to say anything publicly to our misinformation. But I just want to say to you, you got to do better, bro. You're on tour. You're all over the place on tour. You're going to tell people you don't got no money, so you're going for free? But hey, I wish you the best, brother. And I hope everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. All right, let's take a look at this Karen trying to harass these.
Go in the crib. This is my estate. Go in the crib. I don't care. Go in the crib. We are.
Go in the crib. Yo, go in the crib. I don't care.
Yeah, what do you do?
I don't care.
Me?
Go in the crib. You say you mad. You mad. Go in the house. Go in the house. Go in the house. What? Come up here. Touch me all night. What? Fuck you. Touch me.
One blood clot.
Fuck is you talking about? Fuck is you talking about? Not playing with you. Get off my porch. 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 You came on my property, you talked to me first. Get off my porch. Get off. And I'm a minor. And I'm a minor. Get off my porch. Get off my porch. Get her off my porch. Get her off my porch. Get her off my porch. Go in the crib.
Yo, she learned the hard way, man. She learned the hard way. She learned the hard way.
Beginning in February, the president signed the orders attacking the law firms.
When I read about things like J. Edgar Hoover, right?
Who was a mixed race African? Go ahead.
Was he?
Now, let me ask everybody this. I'm going to ask Truth Story. And J. Edgar Hoover was a mixed race African, yo? I was listening to this the other day with Umar, man. Not to switch up the topics, but I'm just running through some videos that I saved. And this is crazy right here. He said J. Edgar Hoover is a mixed race African.
Yep, it just
I thought he was a homosexual. Okay.
I think one of his he would have been like a quadroon, octoroon. In other words, he had a black great grandparent or something to that extent, just like Abraham Lincoln, just like George Washington.
Abraham Lincoln looks black to me.
Oh yeah, he was darker than Barack Obama.
I'm the only person that think that.
He was darker than Barack Obama.
Lincoln looks like an old black drone.
Yeah. Abraham Africanus. That was
yo. Listen to Umar's
the slur they gave him, letting him know we know you black.
Shut up.
Barack Obama was not the first black president. He was the first one who couldn't hide it.
So even though it's all black, everything culturally, are there any things from other cultures that you could enjoy, like Italian food?
I love pizza.
Asian movies.
He loves pizza.
But here's the thing.
I'm a pizza
There's
guy.
evidence that pizza was not discovered by Italians.
Shut up.
I'm being real.
Let
and if you
him
want
tell
to
you
go
how pizza
martial
from
arts,
Africa, my nigga.
who are
I mean,
the
Phelps.
inventors of martial arts?
Let him tell you.
Who invented martial arts? African people.
Us.
So what I'm saying is how do you go about teaching white youth the history?
Whose history? Ours? I'm teaching white children black and African history for what purpose?
That's my
Negro,
question.
why am I teaching white kids who I am?
These are 3 lies for white.
Now, this sister right here, Taylor Joy for real. I think I said this to you, Mika. She's from the Nation of Islam, man. And this is what I used to teach. And just listen to this carefully.
Man taught you compared to what supreme wisdom taught.
Let me not even leave out Rawborn too, because he in the mix too. He in the Islamic mix.
Us. The first lie is that the earth is 4.5 billion years old. We know that this is not true. The most honorable Elijah.
We know this is not true. A definite statement. See, that's the mistake I make a lot of times. I talk in absolutes. We got to say approximately. But how are they dating this? Now that she's going to say, look at what she's going to say. It's not 4.5 billion. It's a lie. White people is lying.
Muhammad teaches us that the black man has been here for 76 trillion years. So it's impossible for our planet.
It's where Dr. York got that 77 trillion from. He got it from Elijah Muhammad.
To be 4 billion years old. And the white man has only been here 6,000 years. So how would they know? It's crazy because he teaches that like it's a fact, right?
Wow. So she's teaching it like it's a fact too. 76 trillion years old. Do y'all know what a billion is? That's an estimate that's like infinity. So we can't even fathom we barely live to be 75 years old on average. So you were saying 1,000 years is a lot of years. So you're talking about 4.5 billion. I can't even comprehend that number. But 76 trillion? Ah, man. That's just way out there. But hey, that's what I used to teach. I used to teach this. I used to say Elijah Muhammad is the guy in Malachi 3 or Malachi 4:4 or Malachi 3:3, whatever it is. My messenger Elijah. I used to teach that Elijah Muhammad is that messenger, that guy right there. I don't know how is he the Elijah and also Jesus Christ exalted, but hey, that's a whole nother conversation. But that's what I used to teach. I used to be in a cult. I used to. Facts. All facts.
So the earth is not 4.5 billion years old. In our supreme wisdom, we learn and know that the earth is 76 trillion years old and that the black man has always been here. Black man, you wasn't born into this world. The world was born from you. So the second lie is that all people are equal. Sorry if this hurts any feelings, but that is a lie. Oh no, the house Negroes, they finna hate me for this. Man and mankind are not the same. In the Nation of Islam, we are taught that man refers to the original black man and woman. You see, mankind is not the original man. He is a made man, a kind of man. You see, kind is not the root. It is the grafted branch. So no, the white man is not our equal. He is our child, born through a process of genetic separation and grafting 6,600 years ago. These people are babies on our planet. Remember who you are. There is man and there is mankind. Two different things. The third lie, okay.
So that's man and mankind stuff comes from the whole Yakub teaching. So Yakub was created by that scientist, mad scientist Yakub around 8,400 years ago. And over a process of interbreeding, light skin with light skin, you created who was called the white man over grafting process. That's what she's referring to. So that is facts to the Nation of Islam.
Okay, is that the moon was created by some random collision, like some rock just hit the earth randomly, sporadically. How do you explain the moon's perfect cycle, right? It pulls on our tides, it's connected to our menstrual cycles.
Talk about it, sister.
There's nothing random about it. What the moon really is a scar, basically, a reminder of our rebellion 66 trillion years ago. 66 trillion years.
66. Yo, do y'all know what a trillion is, yo? Do y'all know what a trillion is? A trillion, yo? A trillion? I used to, hey, I subscribe to it. Not even to born. Rob on answer. You can answer it, Garfield X. Yo, somebody block Truth Story for me. He's gonna go in. He be going it up there, Rob all back in the days, yo, without NOI teaching. Yo, I love my NOI people though, man. But yo, I used to believe this stuff, man.
Ago, right? One of our own decided he wanted to destroy all life on earth. Okay. One of the greatest acts of rebellion. He drilled into the earth's core, y'all. He drilled and ignited.
What did he drill with at 66 trillion years ago? What? Yo.
Explosives. It was that explosion that separated the moon from the earth, leaving the earth tilted on an axis. Ever since then, we have been trying to spiritually regain our balance. These are lies, beloved. And if you don't believe it, if you believe I'm just making this up, I need you to ask yourself, why is it that I accept the white man's history and science but not my own. All praise is due to Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan.
You know, there's a brother that I interviewed. He has a writing out, and he talks about how all the actual it's crazy. Bruh, I used to hold to this, man. I used to hold to it. But what happened is a lot of the actual facts existed in the world. And when Elijah Muhammad put them together, it looks like he's saying that since Master Farad Muhammad came, that's when the knowledge came into the world. But it existed. So the gentleman that I interviewed, when I talk about the Nation of Islam in American history, go back to that video. They talk about the actual facts. He has a book out that points out it's a heart changer, man. Because when you hold to a teaching, this is why it's so hard for people to believe something and let it go. If you notice, I never tell people don't let go of your God. That's whatever God your connection is. But the teachings that come along with it is just so incorrect. So you see, you have to take the Hebrew Israelism, where you have the elders, you have to go along with what the elders taught. And it's like you're ashamed if you leave it. I've known brothers who left the Hebrew Israelite movement. They're like, yo, this is garbage. Just like how I look at the Nation of Islam teaching. It's just something to wake you up. Because again, African Americans or black people are looking for an identity. So who we are. So Garfield, if we are Israel, who we are. Which tribe we from? Bro, you only could trace your roots back to the ship where you came on. You can't necessarily trace back to a specific tribe or the document. Even when they document that you Igbo or whatever. Igbo, are you sure? Is somebody documenting it? You don't know if it's true. So we are kidnapped victims who were taken from our cultures. Now, certain DNA tests might tell you have certain markers that's closer to Yoruba or to Igbo or to the Ghanaian people or whatever your mixture. But that's the best you can do. You really don't know who you are technically 100%. You can estimate it. Yeah. I love tracing my family history. It's just a hobby. Like I'm going to go back to Jamaica with my daughter. We're going to go back and go into my father's history, and because I know when the name Reed came to Jamaica in the 1600s, and I trace back all them roots, trace back to ships, and we want to go deep. The other day, this guy in the Jamaican group on Facebook, he said, Garfield, he tagged me to somebody who was missing in Ghana. This guy named Alice, he said, I remember you saying you connected to the Allisons, and yeah, the guy was related to me. Yeah, so I mean, we could trace by last names and all that stuff. But anyway, this was very, I think I sent it to Mika in her inbox.
Need custom cartoon videos. What's up, man? I'm Deputy Carbone, Orange County Sheriff's Office.
You ever heard of the man who built the very...
You pay attention to what side that is saying. Now, we got this sign, this artwork right here. Don't be afraid to take a look at this art.
Look at Captain Tazaria, man. I'm going to get, you know what? I don't want to get into this right now, because the whole Egyptomaniac's going to get mad at Captain for, saying, listen to this guy, Captain Tazaria. Listen to this guy.
This artwork is written on Kemetic walls, and in their mythology, he asks, what is mythology? Mythology is man-made creations to convey a point. That's what mythology is. Y'all tell me what man in the development of creation in the Bible, when it talks about God created the heavens and the earth, when you read Genesis, the first chapter, you're not going to see a man with a penis aimed at his mouth for the creation of the planet Earth. Because the Bible is not mythology. The Bible is common sense. But in man's mythology, in ancient Kemet, when they describe the creation of the earth, this man that you see with his penis aimed at his mouth, his name is Gad. Written by a man's mythology, and he believed that he nutted in his mouth and brought forth creation. You pay attention to what side that is saying. Now, we got this sign, this art.
What are you doing?
Are always on the right side of.
All right, let's get out of here. All right. All right. So JJ 7000 wanted to have a conversation. Let's deal with the we're going to deal with the immigration and the FBA for a second, because FBAs, I don't know if y'all think y'all exempt from some of these crazy things that's going on here. I don't think y'all know what's really going on here in your own country that you live in. Hold on, let me find this video real quick. Zarek has lost his mind.
So I'll live. Louis Vuitton.
Just because you don't know history doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Ever since I found out Harriet Tubman.
Hey, somebody tag Sean in here real quick, because I want to ask Sean a question. I heard that there's 4 Aboriginals that teach that Columbus didn't exist. Hold on, let me call him on the phone real quick. Let me call him on the phone right now. Because I saw him, he tagged me the other day. I gotta ask him this question, because now I gotta put them in the title. I gotta put them on the big screen. I gotta start putting them on the big screen every Sunday. This is crazy.
Hello, G.
Good morning. It's Sunday morning, man. Wake up. I know you're going to church, but I'm live on the air. I got you live on the air. Everybody could hear you. You tagged me the other day, a couple weeks ago, about with A1 Aboriginal Power thing, Dane Calloway. Are they teaching that Columbus did not exist?
Yeah. Dane Calloway, they say it's a myth. All of them. Chief Holiday too.
Do you have a video with the clips of them saying it? You have a video with the clips of them saying it?
Nah, I can go in dang, I ain't got the book downloaded no more. But I started deleting it. But they ain't say this stuff in this book, just like he say about Harriet Tubman and all them.
And Nat Turner, right? Yo,
Turner. Yeah,
wow.
It's along those lines.
Yo, so y'all heard it from Sean himself.
They all on video saying it. That I just don't know which video it is, because I ignore them dudes now. It's been, years. But if you ask them, you know what I'm saying, they'll probably say it again.
That's crazy. All right, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. So this is just sad, man, on so many levels, yo.
It's not a real person. It fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie. Because her real name is Araminta Ross. And she was a spy for the United States government. Her real name, Araminta, is not connected to the Harriet Tubman. And Sojourner Truth's real name is Isabella Bumfrey. Same thing, was also a spy. Yeah, if they were published in American history and it was Black history, they were spies, bro. They've been trafficking people. Underground. It's all underground. And they want us to look up and idolize these people. Oh, well, they look just like me, so I must look up to them. Stop that shit immediately.
All it takes is a phone, a bit of confidence, and a strong opinion. Discrediting centuries of scholarship with 60 seconds of baseless commentary. Social media has given everyone a mic, but volume is not the same as knowledge. Harriet Tubman's legacy is not up for debate. Changing your name after escaping slavery and being labeled a fugitive is a survival tactic. Harriet Tubman, born Araminta Ross, adopted the name Harriet after her mother and Tubman after her husband. This is well-documented history, not conspiracy. In fact, many children's books and films refer to her early life nickname, Minty from Araminta. Yeah, her story is not some rumor passed down. It has been preserved in letters, interviews, archives. There are museums, landmarks, and curricula built on her legacy. You not knowing doesn't make it fiction. It just means it's a gap in your knowledge. So yes, Harriet Tubman was very real. She was a revolutionary, a Union spy, a nurse, and a conductor of the Underground Railroad, which was not really underground, y'all. She freed around 70 people through her own missions and over 700 during the Combahee River Raid with the Union Army. That's nearly 800 lives changed forever. Dismissing her legacy because you don't know history is disrespectful to the generations who fought to make sure her story lived on. Harriet Tubman's life is one of the most documented and heroic stories in American history. History is not up for debate. It's a discipline. You cannot opinion your way out of facts. Just because you don't know history doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Ever since I found out Harriet Tubman is not a real person, it fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie. Because her real name is Araminta Ross. And she was a spy for the United States government. Her real name, Araminta, is not connected to the Harriet Tubman. And Sojourner Truth's real name is Isabella Bumfrey. Same thing, was also a spy. Yeah, if they were published in American history and it was Black history, they were spies, bro. They've been trafficking people. Underground. It's all underground. And they want us to look up and idolize these people. Oh, well, they look just like me, so I must look up to them. Stop that shit immediately.
Yeah, it's sad, and I'm gonna play some videos regarding immigration and FBA. Listen, just because your immigration and ICE is collecting people, you feel like your life is better and all that stuff. And of course, we love Trump for what he's doing, but you got to look at what he's doing to people like you. Let's take a look at some of these stuff here with Trump and the whole immigration stuff.
So on day one of Donald Trump's presidency, he issued an executive order. If you are born in the United States and one of your parents is not at least a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, you're not a U.S. citizen. 22 states filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump saying this is illegal. A federal judge agreed and issued a nationwide injunction saying this executive order can't go into effect. And Trump appealed, not whether his ban on birthright citizenship is legal or not. He appealed that a federal judge can't make this nationwide injunction while they're litigating this case out. And the Supreme Court decided with Donald Trump. So they haven't ended birthright citizenship. They didn't make a decision on that. What they have said is, if you are a child born in the United States in one of these 22 states that brought a lawsuit, that injunction continues. You will be considered a U.S. citizen. You will get your benefits as a U.S. citizen, whether it's your birth certificate, your social security number, Medicaid, food stamps, whatever you're entitled to. But if you're a child born in the United States, in any of these other 28 states that did not bring a lawsuit, the Republican states, in 30 days from now, you will not get any benefits. You will not get your birth certificate, presumably, nor a social security number, nor Medicaid, nor food stamps. You won't be considered a U.S. citizen, perhaps even deportable, baby deportable, imagine. The Supreme Court gave 30 days. So that means nothing happens over the next 30 days. So if you happen to be lucky to be born by July 27th, 2025, you're a U.S. citizen. You don't have to worry about anything. But after July 27th, you have to rely on new litigation that's expected. And they're going to make it a class action and make an injunction for each of those particular litigants, every person who's part of this class action, that Trump's ban on birthright citizenship is illegal until a final decision is made by the Supreme Court of the United States. So now, if you're an undocumented immigrant, even if you're legal on a student visa, and you give birth to a U.S. citizen in one of the non-28 states that joined the original lawsuit, you have to hope that there is a class action lawsuit. You have to know about that class action lawsuit. You have to be smart enough to join that class action lawsuit in order for your child to be considered a U.S. citizen until the U.S. Supreme Court makes a decision on Trump's birthright citizenship ban. So on day one of Donald...
Religion was a weapon being used to colonize.
So on day one of Donald Trump's presidency, he...
Yeah, so this is what it leads to now. Look at this right here. Let me play this video right here.
This is Jermaine Thomas. Jermaine was just deported to Jamaica, a country he's never been to. Jermaine is the son of a U.S. Army soldier who served nearly 20 years in the U.S. Army. Jermaine was born in 1986 when his father was serving in Germany. Jermaine was born on a U.S. Army base in Germany. Son of a U.S. citizen, Army soldier who served nearly 20 years in the Army. But the United States of America has decided that Jermaine Thomas is not a U.S. citizen. He's not a citizen of Jamaica. He's not a citizen of Germany. He is a man without a country.
So why they ship him to? Why did Jamaica accept him? This is the craziness with Donald Trump now. So if they don't accept him, he's gonna threaten Jamaica like, yo, I'm gonna stop giving y'all this or that, or stop trading with you. This is what Donald Trump is doing. So now people are going. Imagine this. Imagine you walking down the street where you live, and I say, hey, you got to show who you are, and they say, hey, we're gonna deport you. What's gonna happen to you? And this guy's an FBA.
I encourage you to read this article. I want you to hear what he says he was thinking as he's on this plane being deported to Jamaica. He says, I'm looking out the window on the plane, and I'm hoping the plane crashes and I die. Let me just review this one more time. Jermaine Thomas, born in 1986 on a U.S. Army base in Germany. His father, who was born in Jamaica but became a U.S. citizen. So his father was a U.S. citizen who served in the Army nearly 20 years. I want you to imagine that for a moment. Imagine that you gave 20 years of your life to serving your country in the military. While you were serving, your child was born as you were overseas serving on a U.S. military base. And then years later, that country that you served for nearly 20 years decides that your child is not a U.S. citizen and needs to be sent out of the country. This is what our country has become. This is what's going on in the United States of America today. And if you're okay with this, I'm not okay with you. This is Jermaine Thomas. Jermaine was just deported to Jamaica.
Yeah, so y'all worrying about what you call it? There's some more stuff. Let me play another video for y'all. Y'all think this immigration thing is a joke? It's not a joke. I didn't even know this rule, right?
Don't even need probable cause. You can just look. U.S. citizens can have their phones searched at the border or at an international airport. Immigration does not need a warrant to do it. They don't even need probable cause. You can just look at them the wrong way, smile the wrong way.
His father is not Jamaican, bro. I told you, the dude is he was born on an Air Force base, U.S. Air Force base. You're in America. John McCain, that was running for president, he born on an Air Force base in Germany. So you would deport him? Nah, bro.
U.S. citizens can have their phones searched at the border or at an international airport. Immigration does not need a warrant to do it. They don't even need probable cause. You can just look at them the wrong way, smile the wrong way. Immigration officer can ask to unlock your phone, go through your messages, your photos, your call logs, anything stored locally on your phone. They can look at your bank statements. But here's what they can't do. They can't access your cloud services, and they can't deny your entry into the United States. You're a U.S. citizen. They also can't force you to give up your password. You can say no. Then they have a right to hold on to your phone for up to 5 days. Bring it to some special IT people who will get the information they want anyway. And you'll be delayed at the airport having arguments with them. It's only going to be a small percentage of people that this happens to. It does happen. And you as a U.S. citizen traveler has to think ahead of time. What am I going to do if this happens to me when I come back into the United States? Am I going to say, here's my password, go look at my pictures from the Bahamas. Here I am in my bikini and bathing suit. Here I am at dinner. What are you looking for? Or are you going to play hardball and say, you have no right to look in my phone? My privacy is important to me. But if you're going to do that, be prepared for the consequences, delays, and perhaps even taking your phone away for a few days. There's a middle ground too. You can spend time before you leave on your vacation deleting stuff off your phone, logging off cloud accounts, maybe even just getting a burner phone. All legitimate options. Think about it before you go. Know what you're going to do when you're asked to share that information. Because at the border, your rights to privacy are very limited.
Wow. Listen, man, this is crazy right now. This is crazy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ace Murray, but he passed recently, by the way, too. He's a photographer. I think he has a Jamaican background. This brother here, I knew him for years. He passed. So rest in peace to that brother right there. Let me see. So FBAs, look out. Look out. That's all I got to say.
As eyewitness testimony and doctor's testimony proves, that's not the fault of the Israeli snipers.
This is the problem, because then you have
the problem is you won't answer the question. I'll shut.
Oh, Ron, that's for next week.
Your U.S. citizenship away, it starts. Denaturalization, taking your U.S. citizenship away, it's starting. All right. A memo just got released by the Department of Justice. It's a June 11 memo. It's all over the news. I'm going to give you a breakdown of what's happening under Trump. He is pushing the Department of Justice, that's the FBI, that's the Attorney General, to go after United States citizens and take their citizenship away if they meet these types of grounds and basis. All right. This memo details 10 categories where they can go after American citizens. That's right. People who became naturalized, got their citizenship, have been living here for a long period of time, and they're going to go after these individuals. All right. And they said that they're going to prioritize and maximally pursue denaturalization proceedings in all the cases permitted by law, but specifically under these categories that they're going to detail. One are cases against individuals who pose a potential danger to national security and with a nexus to terrorism, espionage, or some sort of, export of goods. All right. So this is, again, going after those types of people. All right. Number two, cases, individuals engaged in torture, war crimes, human rights violations. That's number two. Number three, cases against individuals further the unlawful enterprise of criminal, gangs, organizations, or drug cartels. All right. That's number three. Number four, cases against individuals who committed felonies that were not disclosed at the time of the naturalization process. Really important one. So you were hiding a crime, a felony offense, and it was not properly disclosed to the U.S. government, the immigration officer. They can revoke your citizenship now. Number five, cases against individuals who committed human trafficking, sex offenses, or violent crimes. Cases against individuals, that's number six, is going to be a case against individuals, some sort of financial fraud against the U.S. government. It could be Paycheck Protection Program, PPP program that was during COVID, where they had loan frauds, or it's Medicaid or Medicare fraud. Really important, financial frauds. That's number 6. Number 7, case against individuals engaged in fraud against private individual funds or corporations. So somebody who was engaged in that type of fraud in a person, you could go after that person as well. Okay. Number 8, cases against, individuals who acquired naturalization through some sort of corruption, fraud, material misrepresentation. Number 9, cases referred by the U.S. Attorney's Office with pending criminal charges, and that could be really critical as well, because what if you've got open cases and so forth? Number 10 is anything else that they determine sufficiently important to pursue. Those are all the serious crimes.
Yep. My whole thing is, I don't know what all of this is proving, because I don't.
Well, immigrants are not Americans. Americans are the people that were born here. Hear more about helping Americans or immigrants in this claim.
Immigrants are Americans. I'm an immigrant and an American.
Well, immigrants are not Americans. Americans are the people that were born
14th
here.
Amendment. Have you read it?
Okay, yes, I have.
Citizenship clause. It
so
says any persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
I'm aware of that.
There's about 40 to 50 million naturalized Americans in this country.
Yes, but
you didn't seem aware of it because you said Americans versus immigrants.
So, but are you understanding that the process of getting all these immigrants that come in here we've been also the millions of immigrants, it's up to the millions, it's the last 20 years now, and it has dramatically affected Americans here in the country, which
positively, I would argue.
People like me and everyone around here, we cannot find homes or even get jobs within our own fields.
You're looking for a job in construction?
I am not, no. I went to college.
Okay. Unemployment is at a record low right now, even under Donald Trump. And I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but I would say unemployment under both Biden and Trump has been at record low levels.
Okay, is this in regards for American citizens?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm unaware of that statistic, but from what I see, from what I can
I'm an immigrant and an American, and I employ many American citizens, both naturalized and the ones born here.
And
I employ Americans.
My parents came
Americans as defined by you.
My parents came as immigrants to become naturalized, so I'm not necessarily opposed to immigrants.
So you're the child of immigrants.
Correct. I'm a child of immigrants. I was
But
born
you don't
here.
accept that immigrants are Americans.
Not at this moment.
So your parents are not Americans.
Not at this moment.
So hold
no,
on, your parents
they're
are not Americans.
citizens. They became naturalized.
You just said you can't be citizens by being naturalized.
No, I was born here, and I'm not
Yeah,
opposed
you're born
to
here, right?
naturalization. I
But
never
are your
said that I'm
parents-
against naturalization.
Are you against naturalization?
No, I never said I was against
You did.
naturalization.
You began. Everyone was here. They can play it back on YouTube. You said Americans or immigrants. Are your parents Americans or immigrants?
No, my parents are United States citizens.
But they're immigrants. You said.
No, they came here as immigrants. However, but
So they
I
are
want to make the
immigrants.
claim
You
that
said,
we cannot
I came
even,
here as an immigrant. I'm
but
an immigrant.
at this point, when they came, the United
People
States
aren't happy
economy,
with the way this is going for you.
the United States economy was not at.
The reason the economy is doing badly now is because Donald Trump's tariff policy. Nothing to do with migrants. In fact, the
They can't even
congressional.
start businesses.
I'm an immigrant. I started a business. In
No,
fact,
I understand because the SBA
immigrants
is giving people billions
I
of
didn't
loans.
take any
They're
loans
giving
from
them
SBA.
billions.
I didn't take any loans.
I'm not
from
saying you
SBA.
did, but I'm
Okay,
saying
well,
that
I did.
statistically speaking, they're giving billions of
So
loans.
should we do
to these
statistics?
people. Aware of
Right,
that.
immigrants
But
are
we
more
also-
likely to pay in taxes than
Yeah.
take out in benefits.
And
They're more likely to add to innovation and jobs and wages. This is what the statistics show. The Congressional Budget Office.
understand- I
Let me just finish my
understand
point and let you come back
Okay,
in.
go
The
ahead.
Congressional Budget Office, which is bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats both use it. They have said that the immigration surge that you mentioned will lead to an extra $9 trillion of GDP over the next 10 years. That amounts to $65,000 per American household. That's $65,000 for each and every one of you holding up a red flag.
Okay, I
All
understand
right,
that, but
pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your
Nice
seat.
to meet you.
This immigration argument is crazy. It's crazy, family. I'm just telling y'all, it's crazy. It's some crazy stuff. But that's today's flyer, man. Y'all like my avatar, man? I made that this morning. This morning I made that. Once Golfy can make avatar, and it's a wrap for y'all, man. It's a wrap. All right. So let me get to this. Anybody wants to join the panel, of course, and talk about immigration is more than likely welcome. Black people, please stop lying to black people. That's all I stress every day. Stop lying. I notice there's an argument coming up about Sumer with Chuck Morgan and Asari Motep. Chuck Morgan thinks Asari is faking the funk. Asari thinks Chuck Morgan don't know what he's talking about. I'd love to see a conversation between those two gentlemen. My channel is free, of course. I have nothing to lose. I'd love to have the conversation here on my channel. It's all about black people. Stop lying to black people. One of the things with Sumer, though, that we need to, I'm going to actually have to do a whole presentation with sources so everybody could point out this whole thing about an Ethiopian or a Kushite empire that spanned all the way to Sumer from whatever, we need to throw that out. Throw that out. But my words mean nothing. I have to show and prove. I think that's one of the things that we mixed up a lot. As far as Egypt, I notice a lot of people, because of the person, the oldest DNA sample that they have on record that's been peer reviewed. This one guy had an admixture of some people from Mesopotamia and 80% Egypt and 20%. Everybody like, you see, maybe this guy was right about Sumer. Of course, people interacted, man. Come on, man. But it is what it is. What it is. All right, let me get to this whole part of the show about the civil war with the Hebrew Israelites. Iuic, Isupk, Genesis, Sicarii. They had a debate the other day too about the lunar Sabbath. I thought it was crazy because man, I tell you, man, everybody want to be different, everybody want to be right. All right. Nobody in academia has a definite where Sabbath comes from. In the Bible, right? Here's this guy that has a website called Contradictions in the Bible. I'm going to Google him right now. And one of the contradictions in the Bible, Sabbath. Let me see if his website pops up. Because his website, contradictionsinthebible.com, let me see if his website come up. All right, so let me put the actual website in. Contradictions in the Bible.com. Oh, it did come up. Okay. So I think it's in Genesis. So let me look for Sabbath. Let me Google Sabbath on his website and let me bring up the argument about Sabbath. So one of the things is that the brothers from Genesis talks about let me see what's on the screen. Stop lying about people. All right, Sabbath. Let me see what the earth created. All right, well, let me see. Hold on, let me go to the top. All right, let me put the website on the screen so everybody could take a look at it. So I'm not making up stuff. It's called Contradictions in the Bible. It's Contradictions. What is the website? Contradictionsinthebible.com. All right, this is by Matai. What's his name? Matai. Somebody I know for years. We actually corresponded on Facebook a couple of times. A lot of the contradictions that people talk about normally when I hear people is not really contradictions, but because I subscribe to a minority position on the JEDP theory, I don't think that theory can hold up 100%, but it does have some good arguments, which is what he's doing. He's actually supportive of that. But I'm going to, let me see. I'm trying to find the one with the Sabbath, because I want to talk about that. You see, what happened is majority, 99.9% of Israelites follow a 7-day Sabbath. What Genesis, and I assume, I could be wrong, Sicarii teaches is that it's based off the lunar. All right. My question, first of all, when I heard this, because I've never studied this, I'm like a rookie when it comes to this, so I'm not even an expert or somebody I've read that, so I'm not even gonna pretend. All I know is when I studied the Sabbath, I knew it didn't come from Egypt, but I might be wrong, because I'm gonna explain to y'all why. If you look at Russell Demerkin's book, I'm gonna show y'all that too. He pointed out something where the 7-day celebration may have come from. Not saying it did, but how Egypt is connected to the 7th day. And I'm going to show y'all so y'all don't think I'm making it up. Wilderness itinerary. Let me see. Dr. Stephen de Matai. All right, let me see. Most of these contradictions can be answered with the JEPD theory that different writers at different times rewriting the same story. So that's why I said I don't know if it's a contradiction if you're reading the text as it is, but if you study the text and do what's called a textual analysis or a textual criticism, as the scholars call it, you will see that there's different things that contradict you. But they're not contradiction in my eyes because I know it's different writers writing different things. So people can make errors. They have their own opinion. Like with Jesus being born in Luke 2 versus Matthew 2, it's a contradiction of his birth when he was born. But it actually is a contradiction. But you look at it from two different writers writing at two different time period later on, you could see how people could make errors. But it's definitely a contradiction. Damn, why can't I find it? The Sabbath. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, let me do this. Yeah, so let me type in Sabbath. Sabbath and the creation of sacred time. Is it the Sabbath? When is the festival of first of fruits? Here we go, right here, family. Number 4. Is the origin of the Sabbath to be found in God's rest on the 7th day or the manner in which Yahweh gave rest to the Hebrews when they were slaves in Egypt? So Genesis 2 verses 2 to 3, Exodus 28 to 11, or Deuteronomy 5, 12 to 15. Now, if you're an Orthodox believer, right, you're going to look at it this way. Nobody done more for the Hebrews than Donald Trump. Shabbat means trickery. Would like to speak to you about how the God of the Old is not the same. Esoteric daydreams. Anytime you want. What is your take on Candace Owens getting sued? Chuck it the link. All right. So this right here, you press it, and we back on this page right here. All right. But Genesis 2, 3, and Exodus 28 claim that its origin is because for 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, the sea and everything that is in them, and he rested on the 7th day. On account of this, Yahweh blessed the Sabbath and made it holy. The last sentence here is direct reference to the priestly creation, Genesis 2, 3. Whoever authored this origin for the Sabbath, bear in mind that Exodus 20:11 is merely a part of its immediate context. The 10 Commandments was familiar with peace text or the textual tradition from which P itself was composed. Deuteronomy 5, 12 to 15, however, which is a part of the duplicate rendition of the 10 Commandments in the Deuteronomy source, accredits a different origin to the Sabbath. You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh your God brought you out from there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. On account of this, Yahweh your God has commanded you to do the Sabbath. So the reason for the Sabbath is because of Egypt, coming out of Egypt. But what I wanted to bring to you guys' attention, which is very, very, very interesting, is where you at? Hold on a second, family. Russell Gamerkin. Here we go. All right. Sabbath. All right. So now I'm going to stop. If you notice, it says, you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh your God brought you out from there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. On account of this, Yahweh your God has commanded you to do the Sabbath day. So because you were a slave in land, and then the 7th day, I guess, it's trying to say the different explanations given for the origin of Sabbath observers reflects yet again the fact that these two accounts were penned by different authors. In the end, it may be that neither author was familiar with the reason behind the establishment of the Sabbath, and that both authors merely culled their responses from two different traditions: the 7th day of rest from the creation account and the Exodus tradition. Furthermore, Deuteronomy's explanation of the origin of the Sabbath stresses the covenantal relationship between Yahweh and the Israelites. It is secular and humanitarian in nature, an act of remembrance that the community is obliged to reenact out of covenantal Covenantal obligations. This stress on secular and humanitarianism as a common theme throughout the Deuteronomic literature. Okay. All right. The explanation given by All right. So now. All right. Well, let me see how many responses we have. Okay. So Catherine and him was going back and forth. All right. So let's look at this right here. I'm going to show you one more. I'm going to show you this right here. This is from Russell Gmerkin's book, the late, great Russell Gmerkin, right? Let me do this right here. Y'all know I love Russell Gmerkin, right? Watch this. All right. So he talks about the Sabbath in his book, the Green Book. All right, let me see what it says here. Does it say something here? Page 42. Let me see what it says about the Sabbath. Does he say anything about the Sabbath here? Okay, look at Abdera, a new historical. There is no evidence that the Passover sacrifice. All right, hold on. Let's look at this now. This is a source that he has. He said Plutarch on Isis and Osiris, the same story surfaced at Tacitus. Others assert that in the reign of Isis, the overflowing of population of Egypt, led by Herculaneum and Judas, discharged itself into the neighboring countries. And another commonality in these two stories is that in both on Isis and Osiris and histories by Herodotus, the flight from Egypt took 7 days. The origin of the Jewish Sabbath was seen in this event. Now, this is based off of the source that he used, Plutarch and right? Now, he goes back to this and he talks about, according to Genesis 2, after the creation of the universe in 6 days, God rested from his labors on the seventh day, the Sabbath. It is widely believed that this Sabbath of the gods was dependent on Mesopotamian traditions. Let's go to 46. Lambert, the Babylonian background, Genesis 2:3. This etiology of the Sabbath was repeated in Exodus 20, which the guy just said. Let's go back to Sabbath again. All right. Sabta and Sabbathah were likely variants of Sabbatha or Sabota to be identified with modern Sarah. This city was the capital of the kingdom of Hajra. All right, and let's go to the last one. Both stories said the flight from Egypt took 7 days. The origin of the Jewish Sabbath was seen in this event. Also said the Sabbath was first revealed to the Jews during the Exodus. So I'm not saying he's right with the source, but he's just quoting what other sources have said regarding the issue. Now, I don't know, that's the only Egyptian connection, but also not only Egyptian connection, because he does go to a source in Egypt to when the writing of the story may have occurred and point out why this story, Nectabano's story, is connected to the Moses story, and they talk about the whole what you call it? The whole connection with Egypt and the Exodus story and all that stuff. All right. All right. So that is that. The lunar Sabbath. Everybody disagree with them, but people scared to debate. I don't know why they're scared to debate Hassad in the sense of unity. I say, why don't they challenge Divine Prospect? Divine Prospect ultimately gonna beat y'all up. He gonna beat y'all up on the Sabbath issue. But anyway, Gorilla Hebrew made a video the other day, and I thought it was very interesting. He says he's not a Hebrew Israelite anymore, but people didn't understand what he was talking about. Let's take a listen to
the same recycled backwash topics. I think not. I've been there. I've done that. I came. I saw. I conquered that. I'm not. I'm just letting you know. All I gotta say is all them niggas need to get in my debate course. That's all I'm gonna say. Because the things I do see or the things I do hear about, they need help. They need help, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but all them niggas need to go ahead and get up in the Cutthroat Academy. Because what I see, not good. Okay, not horrible all the time, but niggas need help, for real. I'm on TikTok. I'm going to be doing exclusive premium lives for subs only once a week also. Appreciate you, Umu.
I want to make my wrongs.
Did you come with the follow? Come with the follow, too. We turn up. I want you to understand something. I'm in my unlimited era right now. You're gonna see all forms of content on here. You're gonna see real game, you're gonna see Bible talk, you're gonna see funny stuff, you're gonna see me talking to broads, you're gonna see how fresh I am, you're gonna see family content, you're gonna see hood stuff, you're gonna see everything. I'm unlimited, right? Praise the Lord. You're gonna see debates. I'm unlimited now, right? I'm just me. I'm doing everything that I want to do, right? So it's beautiful. So definitely make sure you following, because you're gonna get everything in here. Shout out to Stacks Francis, just came to the building. He knows me. Stack Francis knew me since I was probably 13 years old. He can tell you about me and all the different dimensions and aspects of me, right? And it's time to lean into that, because guess what? I want everybody to understand out there, God created you. The Most High created you, right?
Hold on 1 second, family. Before we get into Guerrilla Hebrew, let me play this tape by this shorts by Captain Tazariak real quickly. Hold on a second. All right. I'm sorry. Let me do this, because I gotta get this Sabbath stuff out the way with them going back and forth on this Sabbath day stuff. So he's challenging whoever is teaching a lunar Sabbath. He's challenging everybody, and I want y'all to pay attention.
All them niggas that follow the new moon Sabbath are absolutely stupid.
The second thing I had was I had put actually questions concerning the Sabbath day versus the lunar Sabbath. I'm trying to see if
all them niggas that follow, all of 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 them niggas that follow the new moon Sabbath are absolutely stupid.
The second thing I had was I had put actually questions concerning the Sabbath day versus the lunar Sabbath. I'm trying to see if they're saying we are doing it wrong by following the Sabbath day on Saturday.
You said if you was wrong by following what?
Say that again.
What? I'm trying. You just sound slightly like you got a more bass than treble, so I'm not making out what you're saying. So, are you saying that? Are you wrong for following the sundown Friday to sundown Saturday Sabbath?
Yes, that's what I've been told by these so-called lunar day Sabbath.
Yeah, those is Muslim Israelites. Don't let them Muslim Israelites fuck your life up. Do not listen to. Let me tell you something. The Muslim Israelites would have here's where the Muslim Israelites would have a better stance. All of them niggas that follow the new moon Sabbath are absolutely stupid.
The second thing I have.
All of them niggas that follow the new moon Sabbath are absolutely stupid.
The second thing.
All of them niggas that follow.
I need a soundbite, man. Go boom, blow that up. My man Captain Tazariak said they stupid.
Sabbath are absolutely stupid. All of them niggas that follow the new moon Sabbath are absolutely stupid. All of them niggas that follow.
You can't say God is starting nothing, because he said it out of his own mouth. All right, so I'm done with the new moon stuff. Let me get back to Guerrilla Hebrew video. My man acting like he Frank Lucas in the community, man. That Captain Tazariak is a piece of work, man. Let's go.
So when the Most High created you, he created something amazing, and you need to be you. You just need to be you in accordance with the blueprint that God gave us in his word. Simple, right? Because some aspects about you might be negative and go against the blueprint the Most High gave us. So just be you according to the blueprint in which God gave. Simple. I explained in my recent post. I'm on it. Most High got me on a certain assignment right now, but a lot of people are still like, well, when are you gonna do? When are you gonna talk about this? When are you gonna teach on this? And but like, if y'all ain't realized, the Most High shifted my direction. So with that, because I've been doing it, y'all got to remember, I've been laboring in and week out teaching for 14 years. For 14 years, right? Praise the Lord. And he got me doing something else right now, but I understand that the hunger is still there. And teaching is like my favorite thing to do in the world. So I still want to I know y'all want it. I still want to give it to you. But this is how it's gonna have to come right now. Because my focus is elsewhere right now. And not because of myself, because the Most High says so. I can't argue with the man. He the boss. I just work here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But yeah, all praise to the Most High. The real deal. How do you become an Israelite? You don't become an Israelite. You either simply are or you are not. It is a lineage. It's a patrilineage. So you either are of that lineage or are not. So somebody asked me like, oh, so what do you identify as now if you're saying you're not a so-called Hebrew Israelite? When I say I'm not a so-called Hebrew Israelite, I'm referring to the very toxic community that has taken our lineage and has taken the knowledge, wisdom, understanding that the Most High has passed to us and our, through our ancestors in the transmission of the scriptures, and turned it into some weird, like religious weird stuff. Yeah, I'm not with that at all. Do I come from the lineage of Israel? For sure, emphatically, I hold to that. None of my beliefs have changed. But my associations, and my mission, and how I'm going to represent myself and represent the word of the Most High, most certainly that's changed. 1000%. I can't be associated with the toxicity of the Hebrew Israelites anymore. Why lead a movement? Well, because it's a movement, and movements stop. That's the problem with movements. Our lineage, our heritage, should have never been turned into a movement. That's something that my big brother, the incomparable Andre Taylor, taught us. When you turn something into a movement, movements stop. Look at every movement that's ever happened. Look at it. This movement, that movement. It moves. Then it stopped moving. Right? Appreciate the sub, Ron Meyer. Salute to you, brother. So I don't want to be associated with movements, right? I want to be associated with the wisdom of the Most High, because wisdom is more moving than any motion, right? So a lot of this movement of the Hebrew Israelites is based upon knowledge, and the scriptures teach us what that knowledge puffeth up. So it's just a bunch of people who's puffed up, who know a lot of stuff, but are not operating in the wisdom and understanding of the Most High. That are only operating in knowledge and not actually truly following the Bible. They're actually cosplaying as the ancient Israelites. And they are exactly like Christians, because they're still picking and choosing the parts of the Bible in which they want to follow. I don't want any association with that. And this is something that the Most High has showed me years ago, and dogmatically I wouldn't leave. And then, he had to shake something up for me to and even after the shakeup, it still took me time to truly understand through counsel with elders and revelation and dreams and scriptural studies and things like that. You got to get the hell away from these guys. Let them have it. If you want to learn from me, just sub here on TikTok. I'm doing lives once a week. All right, for subscribers. That's what I got. I'm on a mission. I take the boss's orders, man. That's all I can do is listen to the boss. And that's not what the boss wants me to do at this present time. I learned in 2008, video on World Star, seeing some of the elders teaching on World Star in 2008. And that's when I began my journey. Stacks Francis, he can tell you. You feel me? He can tell you when I first came. Like I said, the nigga know me since I was about 13. He at least like, you like a year older than me. He been knowing me since I was about 13, 14 years old. So he can tell you all about when I first came in and everything, because that was my everyday dude. You know what I'm saying? One of my everyday niggas for sure at that time. You feel me? I'm a real individual. You're just going to be real people. Every aspect, everything, it's going to be real witnesses to that. Everything. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the beautiful thing about me is, what you call it? Am I still Sicarii? How could I ever not be Sicarii? That's my whole idea. The name is my idea. The signet is my idea. The color scheme is my idea. The structure is my. How can I never? That's mine. How can I not be? You know what I'm saying? Come on, fool. Y'all gotta think. Y'all gotta think. You know, Flex Detroit, appreciate the follow though. Make sure I salute you. Feel me? But yeah, for people who want to learn, and I'm not in an active duty role, actively teaching, but I got something for people who want to sub up. Weekly live streams. That's what I got for you. Here on IG, on YouTube. It's all gonna be the same one, but it's just whatever platform that you're preferable to. You can sub here on TikTok, on IG, or on YouTube, on the Chief Dome YouTube, and you'll get weekly lives, right? If you're at the level 1, bi-weekly. If you're at level 2, weekly. And level 2 is only available here on TikTok and YouTube. Feel me? So yeah, man, that's what I got for people who are looking for that. But as of right now, and for the time being, you know, that's just not the space that I'm functioning in. I'm functioning in a different space. The Most High got me in, man. Blackjack, what's the deal, bro? Appreciate the follow. Make sure we follow, make sure we like it, make sure we sharing. I mean, I'll debate just depending on how I feel. You know, there's a debate I got with a Christian that's pending right now. You feel me? But they gotta understand I'm not coming in representing the Hebrew Israelite community anymore. Nah, I ain't doing that. I'm representing something. As far as my theological position, I'm coming in representing something different. You know, so y'all just stay tuned for that. You know, appreciate you, Blackjack. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. All praises to the Most High. You know, I just got done explaining that I'm not a part of the Hebrew Israelite community.
I thought this was very interesting. But hey, I noticed something the other day, right? I was on my big bro's timeline. This is July 18th, 1:34 p.m., right? And I noticed I saw a post that says Son Netta will not be interviewing Gorilla. So I said to myself, so who made that choice? Who made that choice? So, all right, so July 18th, and we scroll up a little bit more, and we see on the timeline. Let me see what we got here. Sonata is doing the interview with Gorilla, shaking my head the next day. So he did do the interview, but what type of Frank Lucas thing is going on with Mr. Gas right here? Mr. Carl Gas, smoothies, or not smoothies, smelly stuff. I'm saying to myself, so why does it matter if Sonata is doing an interview with Gorilla Hebrew? I think that's Sonata's channel. He could make that choice if he wants. I understand Tazaria might not get along with Gorilla right now. I don't know what their relationship is like right now. I don't know if they're speaking. I don't know. But why should it bother anyone if Gorilla did an interview on Sonata? You know what I'm saying? Why should it bother anybody? But anyway, to the brother in the chat, let me see. Sonata is definitely Cookie Monster. Wow, y'all funny. Sponsor the new era should sponsor the country, and Bilal the museum. The hadith where the Prophet Muhammad reported said, "Emulate the blacks, for among them are 3 lords of the people of paradise. Take the high ground after pegging allegation. The other Stevens still go live. Nothing happened. Like nothing happened." Yeah, I mean, hey, I've seen politicians do it. I don't see why anybody else can do it. It's all about forgiveness and whatever. Also, let me get into so shout out to Captain Tazara, by the way. He had a couple of videos, a couple of shorts that I actually like. but he definitely put that lunar stuff. He made it well known how he feels about that lunar stuff. Let me go to my watch later list. Let me see if there's any other videos I want to play. Let me see if I could find this BK apologist video real quick. Why did I can't find this video? So there's the flat earthers. I think there was a flat earth debate. I was asking Brother Corey from Tab to moderate for me. I don't know if that's going to happen again. That would have been a good between the brother, not Dr. Dave. It would be this other guy that's pretty good with the flat earth debates. Him and of course our brother Sanchez would have been a good debate, man. I don't know what happened, but it fell apart. It fell apart. Hold on, let me look for this video right here real quick. BK apologist. So BK apologist made a video that Iuic believes that they descend from the Druids. Now I want to ask everybody in I want everybody in the audience to ask yourself, do you think that any of us come from the Druids? I think the Druids is connected to the Celtics. If I might be wrong, I think that's where they come from. So this brother made a video. I want y'all to check it out real quick. Hold on, let me see if I could find the claims. Here's the claims right here.
Comments on some commentary. All right.
And by the way, too, why does anybody in One West, Lands of Israel, any camp, feel like no one can discuss what they believe or whatever? Why we can't refute what you're saying? And if it's a lie, are you willing to come forward and say, hey, I was wrong? I'm gonna do, hopefully soon, I'll do something on that Barbados penny that they're pushing that that's King George or whatever, the third or whatever. That is just, I'm like, how do you come to a conclusion with that coin? I'm trying to figure out a coin that was made in Barbados by a damn slave planter made a coin, and you're gonna say the guy on the coin is King George, and that the picture that we see outside, because it's light skin and it's a white, so-called white man, it can't be King George. It's fake. Y'all can't see if there's something wrong with y'all research. That shit is crazy, yo. So black people come from the Druids. Let's check it.
The book you're referring to. But all praises. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's give me that. This next AI thing I looked up now. This is ChatGPT, one of the AIs I use from time to time. Not always reliable, but you gotta backtrack it. So I was looking into the Druids. I have books on Druids. I'm gonna use it in the Lord's will today. I'm gonna use it. And the Druids. Remember I showed you guys earlier how the Druids were the high priests of the Britons. They went to them for counsel. They did sacrifices. They were advisors of the law. They passed it on to their children. They had to go by memory. Remember that? That was like weeks ago. I went over that. If you guys remember, go back maybe 2 parts and watch it where I go into the Druids and how they didn't put things in writing. It was all up here, and they were like the priests of the people. They were the high priests. They handled controversies among the people. And there was a particular. Y'all have it? Oh, and there was a particular. So you guys are on point today. But there was a particular details regarding the Druids and how their interactions with the people in their time correlate with the Levites, as I was alluding to. So, let's read that. Watch this.
Druid hypocrisy from ChatGPT.
So the reason why I titled it hypocrisy is because in 1 minute it told me no, there's no similarities. That's just folklore. That's British Israelism. Don't believe it. It's to try to tell me like if you don't ask the right questions, you ain't getting the right answers. So I had to dig and ask the right questions. Then it was like, oh yeah, there is. That's all. You see that? So you can't really rely on AI like that, because if you ask the wrong question, you'll get the wrong answer. If you don't ask a detailed question with certain sources and then put it into the AI, it's not going to find anything you want.
So you got to challenge the
AI. You got to challenge the AI, right? Because Esau controls it. So if you don't ask, if you're not esoteric, if you don't have an understanding, a deep understanding of history, it's going back, I don't know what you're talking about. But then if you ask, oh yeah, I know, it does what Esau does. If you don't know, I don't know. If you know, okay, I'll tell you. Read that, watch this.
Druid hypocrisy from ChatGPT. The claim that Druids refer to themselves as the people of Jehovah come from the book, The Bible in Britain, 1869, by Reverend George W. Barber. In this book, Barber suggests that the ancient Druids were monotheistic and worshiped a singular deity, which he controversially equates with Jehovah, the God of the Bible.
Go ahead.
Barber's theory aligns with 19th century attempts to link Celtic traditions with biblical history.
Right, they're trying to say it goes back to British Israelism, where you have white folks that say that the white European nations are the Israelites, and the so-called Israelis today, the Israelis today are Edomites, are Amalek. That's what they say. So British Israelism arose around, I believe, the middle 1900s, I believe. This book was around the 1800s, so I think it predates that movement. So a lot of times when I was looking for some form of correlation between the Britons or the Israelites, it's like, oh, that's British Israelism. So when I asked the right question, it's like, oh yeah, there is some correlation based upon this source, that source. That's why I showed you that book in around Swansea, which is old. It says that the Gwir goes back to Hebrews, which is Britons, which are Silurians, which are the Phoenicians. I had to go take you guys around the world because when I asked Chat, it was like, no, but the books I have say yes. So I'm gonna show you the hypocrisy. Watch this, read on.
Barber's theory aligns with 19th century attempts to link Celtic traditions with biblical history.
Remember, the Celts go back to the Phoenicians, go ahead.
But it lacked historical evidence.
See, but it lacks historical evidence, go ahead.
And is not supported by mainstream historians or archaeology.
Watch.
Most scholars agree that the Druids were part of a polytheistic Celtic religion.
Now, the Druids were in paganism, but they had elements of Judaism because Israel is stupid. We would go into follow the Lord and follow the devil at the same damn time and merge them together. That's what Northern Kingdom would do. But read on. Judah too. Read on.
And did not use the name Jehovah, which is derived from a Latinized version of the Hebrew
Tetragrammaton.
Yahweh. Would you like more details on this or other Druid beliefs?
Right. So I put the question: Levites and Druids similar? I had to ask that question. Watch.
Yes, there are some intriguing parallels between the
You see what's happening? So I asked the question: Levites and Druids are similar? And it said earlier, there's no evidence supporting that those two are the same. Then I asked this question: Levites and Druids similar? It goes, yes, there are similarities. But you just said earlier, in a few paragraphs above, there wasn't. Read, watch. I'm gonna show you. Watch.
Yes, there are some intriguing parallels between.
All right, so there's some things to unpack here, right? So one of the first things that he says is that they don't have any writings, right? The Druids don't have any writings. We're going to get back to that because that's a big point that he makes. And he goes on about basically having to crack the code of ChatGPT to kind of trick it to tell us the truth. And what he means by the truth is that somehow the Levites have a connection with the Druids. And he says, yeah, I asked them if they were the same. They said, nah. But then when I asked them if they were similar, they said, yeah. You see? I'm like, yeah, you didn't trick ChatGPT. You asked actually two different questions. So because he thinks that the words same and similar are equal definitions. Because he thought he tricked it. Like, well, I asked same, but then I asked the other thing. Oh, they told me that it does have. I'm like, yeah, but similarity is not the same as the word same. And it's very sad that we're gonna have to do this. But I mean, it's kind of rudimentary, but right, the word same, right? In Merriam-Webster, resembling an every relevant respect, conforming in every respect, used with, as such or whatever. A being one without addiction, change, or discontinuance, corresponding so closely as to be indistinguishable. Right? That's what same is. Similar is having characteristics in common, comparable, corresponding, alike. Okay? Same, resembling in every relevant respect, similar, having characteristics in common. There's a difference between these two words. And it's sad that we have to, so when we talk about, there just seems to be a lack of just not only reading comprehension, but understanding the definition of words. Because he made it seem as if he cracked the code, like he was slick and asked this other question, which made ChatGPT give up the goods. I'm like, no, bro, you asked two different questions. You thought you said something, slick, and then you got your information. Like, no, the word same does not have the same definition as the word similar. And then he goes on, right? Because ChatGPT shows some sort of similarity between these Druids and the Levites. But here's the thing. There's going to be a lot of similarities with different priesthoods throughout history. There's going to be some. So to play his game, I went to ChatGPT and I asked this: are Shinto priests similar to Levites? And it said Shinto priests and Levites have superficial similarities, but are fundamentally different in theology, function, and historical origin. Actually, before I do that, if I keep going into that, this is a screenshot of his screen. ChatGPT tells him, yes, there are some intriguing parallels between the Druids and the ancient Celtic world and the Levitical priesthood of ancient Israel, though they existed in different cultural and religious contexts. So they're not the same. There's going to be some similarities, just like the Shinto priests, right? The similarities is in ritual function. Both perform rituals and act as mediators. They both oversee ceremonial purity. Levites serve in the temple. The Shinto priests also serve in a shrine, which is the equivalent of a temple. Then I asked ChatGPT, are voodoo priests similar to Levites? Voodoo priests and Levites serve religious functions in their respective traditions, but are not directly similar in origin, structure, or function. Here's a comparison to highlight the key differences and some surface level similarities. Right? The religious roles. Both the voodoo priests and Levites are religious functionaries who lead rituals and maintain spiritual order. The Levites assist the priests in temple worship. Voodoo priests perform ceremonials, invoke spirits, and conduct healing and protection rituals. Both require specialized training or initiation into sacred knowledge passed down through generations. I could do that with all the priesthoods throughout the world, throughout history. Does that mean that the Hebrews were also voodoo priests, according to his logic, right? And that the Hebrews were also Shinto priests somehow too, right? So, but now, I mean, not only is this problematic, he says he has these different books, and there's definitely been a lot of literature about, people trying to make a connection between particular people groups and the Druids. There's a problem with that, though. And it's not just a problem with IUIC. Anybody who tries to make some sort of direct connection with the Druids are going to run into some serious obstacles. So what am I talking about? Well, this is a book entitled Blood and Mistletoe, The History of the Druids in Britain by Ronald Hutton. And this is what he has to say. To focus on this relationship, rather than on ancient figures themselves, as most books concerned with Druids have been wont to do, is not to deny the potential worth of a quest for the Druidity of prehistory. It is certainly not to suggest that archaeology does not have very important things to tell us about the European Iron Age. As about every other period, it may well be, in addition, that at any point, excavation would turn up evidence of decisive value for our knowledge of the, quote, original Druids. This book does suggest, however, that so far such evidence has not, at least in any general agreement, been forthcoming, and that it is likely that any relevant artifacts uncovered by future archaeology will be the subject of considerable controversy before commanding any better acceptance. The Druids may well have been the most prominent magical religious specialists of some of the peoples of Northwestern Europe just over a couple of thousand years ago. And that is all we can say of them with reasonable certainty. Watch this. They left no accounts of their beliefs and practices. And so our impressions of them depend ultimately on images produced in other cultures or later periods. These images are the foundation of all that follow in this book, the basic material from which later concepts of Druidry were constructed. They are vivid and compelling, which is why their effect has been so enduring. They are also, without exception, problematic, controversial, and possibly fallacious, and there's no way out of the problems that they present to a historian. Now, the Iuic gentleman, he actually said it too. They don't have any writings. There's no accounts for their beliefs or practices, right? Which hasn't stopped hundreds of people writing thousands of books about the Druids. But these things were produced in other cultures or at later periods. So all these books that we see about the Druids, it's speculative in nature. We don't know for certain what they believed at all. This is from a website called History for Atheists. Speaking about the connection that people have with Halloween with the Druids and how that you can't do it because there is no information. All right, partially thanks to Keating, the association of the supposed rituals of the, quote, the Druids as the origin of various traditional practices in ancient sites became a mainstay of antiquarian speculation from the 17th to the early 19th century. If you remember in the video, he talked about he has these books from the early 19th century. Yeah, there's tons of books of antiquarian speculation, right? To speculate, we think it could be this way. Or perhaps, we think now that it could have been that way. But there's no data that can be used as a concrete, well, this is what they believe. They don't have anything. We don't have any written materials. We don't have any steles, carvings, nothing. Everything that you have heard about the Druids have come from the speculative milieu of literature from the 1800s and 1900s. We don't know anything. So he can't make a connection with the Levites to the Druids because no one can make a connection to the Druids. Why? Because we don't have any data about the Druids. We don't have any written documents from these actual people. Nothing. And everything that we have that's been written in the 18th and 19th century has been nothing more than speculative endeavors. So you know. And yes, ChatGPT definitely has its benefits, but that is not. It does not make for a robust research methodology. There's a lot.
Let me share something with you guys real carefully here. I did this presentation over 5 or 6 years ago with Priest Daniel, responding to him. And if you look at some of these descriptions here, from Manetho, it talks about their characteristic is one of the northern quarter, the people who live under the more southern parallel, that is those from the equator to the summer tropics, since they have the sun over their heads and are burned by it, have black skins and thick woolly hair, are contracted in form and shrunken in stature, are sanguine of nature, and inhabits are for the most part savage because their homes are continually oppressed by heat. We call them by the general name Ethiopians. All right. So now when it moves on to the other part, those who live under the more northern parallels, those I mean who have the beards over their heads, since they're far removed from the zodiac, he said they are white in complexion, straight-haired, tall and well-nourished, and somewhat cold by nature. I don't have the 100% meaning of what they mean right here, but if you're into race and white and black, and it says here they are white in complexion, straight-haired, tall and well-nourished, and somewhat cold by nature, these two are savage in their habits because their dwelling places are continually cold. Now that's from Manetho, right? So let's go down further. He actually talks about different eras and where they come from and so forth. So he talks about comparing the Ethiopian and the Gauls and the Germans and them and da-da-da-da. And then you go to the fathers of the church. He talks about who were the Galatians. He described them right here. Due to their shiny complexion and that Sibyl refers to them as such, this is what the poet meant when he said their milky white necks are decked in gold, though he could have used the word shiny. It's clear from this that the province where the gods arrived and intermingled with the Greeks was called Galatia. For this reason, the region was called Gallo-Graecia, and afterward, what do you call it? Then you have another thing from the letters of Jerome. As you walk along your shiny black shoes by their creaking, give an invitation to the young men. Your breasts are confined in strips of linen, and your chest is imprisoned close by a tight girdle. Your hair comes down over your forehead, over your ears. Your shawl sometimes drops so as to leave your white shoulders bare, and then as though unwilling to be seen. And so you see they're using words to describe how they look and appear to them. They're not saying that they're dark skinned because they would use the whole thing about Ethiopians and all that stuff. All right, but I would say this is one of the things with these One West guys. They hate when I talk about them, but it's like they have to be true, because these guys was David reincarnated. Ariel was inspired. I don't know why anybody even follows One West teachers. Ever since that 2000 prophecy, that should have been the end. That should have been the end of One West. I don't know why people believe this nonsense. I just don't get it. Even if we are the Jews, I wouldn't subscribe to the One West teachings. I wouldn't subscribe to it. But anyway, this is Gorilla Hebrew talking about the fake outrage in the Hebrew Israelite community.
I don't think he left it now. The standard thing. Yeah. So we look at him and then he said himself. Like when I go to the night, look at her out the answer. And he said he didn't break the tablets. He didn't curse. He didn't curse. He didn't blaspheme.
Exactly. Well, I can only disappoint somebody who puts me in a position in their mind where they think I'm above something that I never said I was above.
I hate to talk about this.
No, you are right, but that's the problem. I knew niggas was gonna feel let down, but they really let themselves down because they projected infallibility on me based on what the Most High has done through me. Not realizing the Most High does all kinds of things through fallible vessels. Almost everything he does is through fallible vessels because we are fallible as human beings. You see what I'm saying? So niggas really let themselves down, you know? Truthfully. And then on top of that, some of this outrage is fake. And it's fake because I was not caught red-handed doing nothing. I already got a hold of myself and repenting months before it came out. So you let a woman recognize, you let my own wife weaponize something against me, and you played into it. You did exactly what she wanted you to do. So you let this bitch come manipulate you into leaving somebody who has done nothing but show you how to be a man of God, but have mercy on you niggas, correct. You let her play you, right? And like she's righteous when she is a willing participant, right? And who's just mad that I cut her off. So niggas say, okay, because the scripture says before you counsel with somebody, know to what they need, right? Know what their motive is. Because motherfucker work in an angle sometimes, right? So what's her angle? Oh, so you mean to tell me she's not ready to do the expose until after she no longer is in the 5-bedroom house sitting pretty without a care in the world other than impedance? And now she has to go and be forced back into real life and getting a job and being a single parent. All of it. Now she's having to be hit with that. So now she want to say something, knowing that I've already made the necessary changes. So for anybody that fell into that without considering those things, oh, you a silly ass nigga. You had reality. You had an alternative view of reality. Because like I tell all these, I've had mercy on you niggas, and I never told you niggas that I'm not without fault. Well, I'm with fault. And then when we really get down into it, all right, cool. You don't like it, fine. Let's open the book. Open the book. Show me what I did. One of this book. Good luck. Good. You gonna have to stretch that situation into that. You're gonna have to stretch that motherfucker into, well, it's this because of this and this and that. You're gonna have to stretch that shit. You see what I'm saying? I didn't need nobody to stress it for me to go, I'm cool. I didn't need nobody to need it to come out. You see what I'm saying? So niggas who didn't consider that, they just weaken the mind. They just weaken the mind because some of these same guys have been caught red-handed committing black and white, no disputation, sin. Right now? Right there. 83rd Street, okay. With the hat on. That's beautiful. Yeah, oh, yeah. Thick as hell. Thick as more. Thick as a bull. Yeah, that's nice. That's the come on, close it, bro. I know you are. I knew you was the one that Lord chose. I knew you was the one that Lord chose. He gonna chose for so. Sharks in the water. But yeah, man, that's what I would say. You know, people feel disappointed, but you thought people think something. People see me do mighty things, and they think that means this. It's one of those things. It ain't nothing. I can't do something wrong. Well, that ain't the you know. But my question is gonna be, okay, what nigga I robbed out here? I'm not gonna say it's looked over. What nigga bitch I took? Fuck it. Okay, now niggas is doing that. Niggas that try to hand themselves to me in active marriages. Even the truth. We're talking about Hebrew Israelite. You see what I'm saying? When I did that, I ain't do none of that. Some of these niggas, they done fuck niggas bitches. You said they done did all kind of shit. You niggas mad at me over text messages. You know that. Let's just think about that. Text messages. Oh, come on. But this is one of them. No, this was the most unjust handling of a situation I ever seen since I've been a Hebrew Israelite. That's 17 years. 17 years. I done seen leaders do horrible shit. Motherfucker bad eye. All justification. No, come. Yeah, no. I'm like, I've been not able to go. She just, but she, and you got to think about it. That's just a logical person, an outside party going. But well, what about that? I'm like, bro, I said, you know what, like, if I start bringing you around, this is what I don't bring nobody around. I don't like when I'm not. I don't. Clarity that he gave all it was. And the what more investigation do we need to do? Like get the game, just say it didn't work. Because if we okay, so I'm trying to go. So then I mean that's what story is built on. And the Sabbath meaning. So he didn't believe that had only because she heard lines. I heard some words that I heard about verbatim. Said, we don't really bad. I'm totally amazing with you know all of these things that he's done for brother and wife that a lot of people don't know. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, I mean and that's what people be concerned about the wrong thing.
And go against the blueprint the Most High gave us. So just be you according to the blueprint of which God gave. Simple. I explained in my recent post. I'm on it. Most High got me on a certain assignment right now, but a lot of people are still like, well, what are you gonna do? When are you gonna talk about this? When are you gonna teach on this? And but like, if you
I don't know if it's directed at me because it is a snippet. We don't have full context. It could be, or not, but regardless if it's directed at me personally, it is in general directed at me, right? As well as others. And I just find it just very interesting. Let's take a look at Elder Ben, what Elder Ben has to say here at House of David. You know, a tenured elder going all the way back to One West.
Damn half-breeds. You half-breed that got these white parents. You friggin' half-breed. That shit comes from when you got white mothers and white fathers. I'm gonna say it. I'm seeing it all the time. That's the problem. When you got these damn white mothers and white fathers. That's the problem, you friggin' half-breed mongrel. You damn hybrid. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. Okay? That's the problem when you got a white mother or you got a white father. And that's where the problem comes in. And the Most High gonna weed you out and sift you out. Most High said all the tears is gonna sift out. Damn friggin' half-breed mongrel.
So I find it interesting. Y'all, if y'all don't know, one of the oldest and most complete forms of the 12 tribe breakdown, is, Elder Ben and Bishop Nathaniel. This is all the way back at One West. They are the two individuals who teach that breakdown. All these years I've known you, Ben, and heard your teachings, I never heard you say anything like that ever. Matter of fact, you know, you one of the heads of Masharai Yasharala who elected me, elevated me, gave me rank, and I put on all them summits for y'all. I wasn't a mongrel then. I find it very interesting and convenient. You know, he wouldn't be the first time when mother get mad at me. They love me. I'm their brother, this great brother. As soon as they mad, now I'm mixed. Now I'm a mongrel. Now I'm white. Now I'm all these things. But when I benefited you, I was this great, powerful Levite brother. Y'all see the selectivity? This is reason number 143,876, why the Hebrew Israelite community is a goddamn joke and I want nothing to do with it. I see this being. You see that? This being there kneeling down. Kneeling down before the mongrel. You see him? Wow. That one of the summits I put on for y'all. You know, the biggest, most successful summits you ever had were the ones that I hosted through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, of course, myself, and of course the ones LOZ hosted down there in Florida. But the number one summit of all time, 2019, here in Atlanta, Georgia, yeah, Sicarii. Yeah, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Yeah, that mongrel did that for you. Why y'all couldn't do it? Why you couldn't do it, Gangster Ben? Where's your toothpick at? Why you talking so spicy, Gangster Ben? This is ridiculous, but this won't be the first time that somebody conveniently, instantaneously changes their doctrine when they got a problem with me. GMS did it about the Star of David. Now the Star of David was wicked. Them niggas wore it, taught us to wear it for years. For years. Then conveniently, all of a sudden, oh man, yeah, them niggas got it. That's the Star of Molech. Niggas changed their whole doctrine. Well, trial breakdown, man. They said is you are who your father is on this one. That's what they taught us there, right? But that's okay. Because I don't need a single solitary individual, nor have I ever needed a single solitary individual to validate my identity because I'm not like y'all, right? Unlike so many of y'all, I am very secure, right, with myself now. And you know, these identity politics, that stuff is so old and tired. I don't know if y'all noticed, nobody wants to hear that stuff no more, right? Let me show y'all something. Let me see if I can find this video real quick. What a YouTube channel this was. Now watch this.
You guys don't know. And then another thing, man. You guys in GMS with the 6-pointed star, take that shit off, man. Because that has nothing to do with King David or Solomon. That star right there is the star of Moloch, man. Yeah, that's the star of Moloch or the star of Rimfin.
Which is so untrue. And any idiot that propagates that ought to be ashamed of themselves. Don't want to let y'all see my notifications. My bad. Now look at this. This was exposed by GMS No Cowards many, many years ago. Elder to Alzheimer's. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Look. Oh, that same thing image he's condemning. He only condemned it because he wanted to go against Sicarii, and that's the emblem of Sicarii. So all of a sudden, conveniently, these niggas be so mad at me that they will abandon and change a doctrine they had for years simply to spite me and try to cook up a charge. Watch this.
And like going back to what we said before, them guys making a big deal about the shield. There's a reason why they're trying to pay it off so that we won't wear that shield. There's a reason behind it. And like going back to what we said before, them guys making a big deal about the shield. There's a reason why they're trying to pay it off so that we won't wear that shield. There's a reason behind it.
Wow. They said they was trying to pay them not to wear it. Then all of a sudden now it's the Star of David. I mean the Star of Rimfam and Molech. Stupidity. The Hebrew Israelite community, a total and utter joke. Totally. Right? Hey, but all praise to the Most High, man. I just had to do that real quick.
Bro, look. I said it's almost, you know how I feel? You gotta be the same nigga you in the world. It's just more so about your approach, about how you treat a bitch on a nigga.
Being precise and intentional with the information that you're giving her. Now think about this. Why are diamonds valuable?
They come up, well, they come up a lot, but they come up.
You know, that whole thing about the Star of David and all that stuff too. I gotta come on and respond. I think Kataza had a video out. I was gonna put him in the black people stop lying to black people part, but he's not black. But that hexagon, is it a hexagram or pentagram or the 6-pointed star, which is 2 triangles? As a matter of fact, you know, this guy here did give me a slide on this issue, and it was in response to Kataza. I'm gonna do a separate, just a video on that, probably like a 15-minute video. Why the 6-pointed star? The oldest one that they found was 7th century BC. It was in Phoenicia, but it was written in Hebrew. But it had nothing to do with David or Solomon. I think the attribution for David came later by rabbinical Jews. So that's what I want to ask anyone who believes it. I asked Yawasap about it. He was extremely honest about it. And he broke it down to me clearly, like, yo, I ain't got no proof that it had anything to do with David, but art for the Israelite flag or anything. But, you know, because of my faith, I'm holding to it. Now, we have to be very careful because this star, according, I've read that it has something to do with the Armenians had it before, but anybody can have a star. So when anybody uses 2 triangles, just because they do it, don't mean that they are connected. And I think that's where a lot of us, we see something and oh, they connected. It's the same. And we keep using that book, Unexpected Faces or whatever, that pseudo book. And what happened is because it agrees with some of the things that we believe in and we feel everything is a cover up, then we rock it out high. But listen to this right here. This is I'm gonna share this on the screen real quickly. Good point by Mango Slade. Let me share this right here real quick. This is Kataza.
Symbolic. Listen, man, we rock the shield of David throughout all our generations. This is the artifact that was taken from Peru to a museum out in Seville, Spain. Matter of fact, man, Officer Zakamura sent me this information out of New York, man. He said, we're really New Jersey, New Jersey. That's my man, Grant, right there. He helped me with some of this research. And he sent me this shield. This is a mold that they made. You understand? Next slide. And another one right here, we start to find, this also came out of Peru. You find the shield of David all throughout South America, North America, all over the galaxy.
So, based on him, they are supposed to be shields of David. He does not provide any source for this artifact and gives absolutely no proof of this being a shield of David beyond it being in the shape of a hexagram, a symbol used by various cultures before the Israelites existed. Yeah, this is a mace head, yeah. These mace heads were weapons. They are placed over spears. But I'm trying to figure out what the seal in ancient Israel, 6th century B, and then 8 centuries later in a synagogue frieze in Capernaum. But these early hexagrams may have been only ornamental designs. Ironically, a swastika, another popular ancient motif, appears alongside the hexagram on the Capernaum synagogue wall. In the Middle Ages, hexagrams appear frequently in churches, but rarely in synagogues or in Jewish. Okay, the earliest known hexagram date to, I think it's actually 7th century. And after the northern tribes were taken to Assyria. Very interesting. I think yeah, that's a good point. The 6-point star used as early as 3rd millennium BC in Armenia before David existed. So look at this one right here. So would we say that these are Israelites because they have a 6-pointed star? You see, this is the problem. We can bring stuff to debunk you or use your same logics and debunk you, but let's be honest. 3rd millennium BC, we have a dagger handle. It's a handle. It's not, they got nothing to do with David because this is 3rd millennium. So why would we even try to state that? No, but I did say it earlier. I think in the Armenian, they had it in the 3rd millennium BC now, before David exists. Various cultures use this symbol. Why does Katazar automatically correlate this with the shield of David? See, there's a methodological problem. I'm not acting like I'm better than anybody else, but you see, I don't pretend to have all the answers. So now, different cultures such as Armenians independently use this symbol before the Israelites even existed. Acquainted with the symbol come from the times immemorial become once again clear. But when you show them how they date it, how you know it's that old? They're gonna ask they don't ask no questions for the Israelites. No questions. But anybody else outside, we gotta know where it come from, who did it, which, that's a conspiracy. They lying. They don't want us to know the truth. This is in the British Museum right here, out of Peru. And by the way, so for anybody that's researching, just because you read a source that says that the people are Jews or Israelites, don't make them Jews or Israelites. What happened is there's something called monogenesis and polygenesis. So whether you come from Adam or you come from different groups of people, that's what the theory that was being argued about. All right. So I just wanted to address the 6-pointed star that my brother Gorilla, I got to address something that Gorilla talked about years ago that I never got a chance to respond to. The Kerbet Kephaya. He said that in our last debate. I haven't responded to it, so I need to respond to that, although it's kind of like 8 years later. But all I'm saying is, that's a long time, Mika. Kataza doesn't know. You see, everybody, when you believe something, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I was with the Nation of Islam, trying to be a part of that group, you couldn't tell me nothing wrong about the Nation of Islam. Nothing about it. I thought everything they taught was right and exact 100%. And I'm telling you, plus they got the greatest speaker ever, Farrakhan. I'm saying this man is backed by God. Then they talked about Mississippi, how he made the weather change and bring the storm come down. I believed all of that. I don't know if it's the star of Satan. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say that. I would not say that. But I will say that not only research all sides, but research all angles. It did in the 6th century BC when they found it, did they say it was regarding the Star of David at the time or the Seal of Solomon? What did that source say? Then when they had it, they found it in Capernaum. They said they found the sign for the swastika right beside it. What did it mean at the time? What did they call it? From what I've read, it seems that the rabbinical Jews, who y'all call the fake Jews, are the ones that attribute it to be the flag of Israel. And that would contradict everything that y'all are saying, because you got to show us where somebody's calling this the shield of David or the seal of Solomon or the shield of or Israel, the sign of Israel, the flag of Israel. Some people that was going to, I think, Denmark or Finland or some stuff, from what that's just from a simple Google search. I don't know if it's true. But if that's the case, you're going to have to show me. Like I had a conversation with Yawasap on Clubhouse. We were just typing in the chat. It wasn't a debate. He still has his Yankee bow tie. Afro Judah, that's funny. And he basically broke it down to me. It's a matter of faith. So we don't have no proof. I think with what GMS did probably was just out of hatred for Guerrilla Hebrew, or they want to come at him. The Jews in Babylon call it the star of the Sabbath. Okay, Blurred Vision, do you have a source for that? Let me Google Sabbath star and see what comes up. So let me share my screen, and I'm gonna Google the same time so that everybody could see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna Google it, Sabbath star. Sabbath. Let me see what pops up. All right, so I'm gonna look Sabbath star Jews. Okay. You'd have to show me where you get that information from and the root of it and all that stuff. I'm sure we won't have all the answers right now, but let's get it, man. Yeah, Blurred Vision, if you have a source for that, let me know. Isaiah 43:11. Peace and love to you, my brother. Thank you. Also, I'm going to do a show on this topic right here. I got to show y'all this topic real quickly. That a scholar proposed something, his book. Of course, y'all know I've promoted his book here on the channel. Jonathan Adler. I want y'all to look at this post. It's something I submitted to my brother Dre from Absolute Bible Truth and Yawasap. I want y'all to look at this post right here. Right? I don't know how it shows on the screen. Hold on. Let me take this off. Let me show it here. This is Facebook. Let me see how it shows. Is it too small? Do I need to make it bigger? Hold on. Let me make it bigger on the Facebook page. All right. Let's make it bigger for everybody. All right, let me take off the comments. I want y'all to look at this. Jonathan Adler, he wrote the book. Hold on, let me see if I have this slide up right here. Do I have it open? Israelite presence. All right. All right, I do have it up. All right. Let me take this off the screen. Let me put this on the screen. This was my presentation from when me and Yawasap debated. If you notice at the beginning of the debate, I talked about right here, polygenesis, monogenesis versus polygenesis. I asked AI what is monogenesis versus polygenesis. So there's more to it than this, but that's what I talked about early in the debate. Because it easily answers a lot of the questions. Like even the questions about we have this story in the culture. This has a lot to do with it. The Christian missionaries, Jews, European context, translating the Bible into Native American languages, rewriting their oral traditions, praying towns, the Society for the Propagation for the Gospel in Foreign Parts. These things all play a part. How they would translate the Bible translation, the Quechua, which is the most popular language. I think 95% of the people use the Quechua as their linguistic communication. So all these things influence their oral traditions of their storylines sounding similar. I even have a source that I think Priest Daniela wanted to ask this during the debate, but I never got the question. I heard him, but Corey had cut him off. Why would they have the stories of the what do you call it? The stories of the Bible, or like the flood story with the native stories. Some of these native stories, I think Sean came on here and provided a source. Sean wasn't even a part of that dialogue. He just was just arguing with the Aboriginal claimants and showing their oral traditions of what they said originally, what they found recently. I forgot to ask him about that earlier too. So if you look at some of these people, Jewish Indian theory proponents, these are all mostly Christian people who believe in the Bible. So remember, they want the Indians to be a part of them being Israel. All right. Their extension. So they wanted America to be a part of Israel and Jews to get back into England. So this played a major role for them. And if you notice, they like to use, what's his name? James Adair. James Adair never said that the Indians were a part of the lost tribes. Never said that. He never said that. That's a major, major point. He also couldn't speak Hebrew or write or read Hebrew. Something that we should, that's something, let me actually be careful how I say that. Adair did not know Hebrew, so how was he able to compare the languages? Adair was not familiar with the language families and linguistic groups, so how was he able to make a claim? You see, some of these old sources said some really claim because there's nobody to fact check them before the 19th century. There's nobody making a language family connection and all that stuff. Europeans translate Indian stories with a biblical twist. So you see it in this source right here. It goes into all of that and how Columbus thought he was in India and all that stuff. That's how they end up being called Indians. Chaos in the Contact Zone. This book here goes deep into it. They thought England was the fourth corner, the four corners of the earth. That was the last corner. That's what they was telling everybody. All right, let me get into let me go to this guy's book real quickly. Hold on a second. Just realize something. Oh, I did talk about this. I think this is the book that they use, Unexpected Faces in Ancient America. So this is what Katazar have. I'm going to make a video about him. They talk about the what do you call it? The Star of David and all that stuff, and the mace heads and all that stuff, pre-Columbian to Chile, 1400 to 1500 CE, and mace bludgeon. So I'm going to show it how it was in Armenia before. Peru had an 8-pointed star also. So it wasn't no big deal. I think with that debate, I think this argument right here was what killed the whole argument. Shout out to Asari Motep, man, because he taught me something about linguistics that I never thought about. So all this stuff about linguistic typology, about if you look right here, family, on the right-hand side, right? Let me take this off the screen right here. I want y'all to look at this carefully. And I want everybody who's watching to pay attention. This is very important. Linguistic typology, your words can be subject, object, verb. It could be subject, verb, object, verb, subject, object, verb, object, subject, object, verb, subject, or object, subject, verb. Now, Cherokee and Uto-Aztecan is a subject, object, verb language. Biblical Hebrew is verb, subject, object, and Hebrew, when you're speaking it, is subject, verb, object. So they're not even connected as far as the typology that they speak. So say, for example, I speak English, right? So I would say the cows eat grass. That's what I would say. We would be on the SVO on the English. Now, with the SOV, it says cows grass eat. If I was speaking Hebrew, I would say cows eat grass. And if I was writing it out, I would write it eat cows grass. So they're not even connected. You see, James Adair didn't have that. The people in the 19th and the 18th and the 17th century didn't have this type of thing to break down linguistics, so they wouldn't have it correct. Now we have it. Everybody who's watching would agree that we would say the cows eat grass. This is the English language typology. Subject, verb, object. All right? VSO would say eat cows grass. VOS would say eat grass cows. OVS would say grass eat cows, grass cows eat. And this is how you would check it also with the linguistic typology of African languages. This is where Asar Imhotep would come in, because he's very good with African languages. You see, this is something that you don't study as a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not a great guy on this. I just followed the typology of how to put the languages together, and I got this from Wikipedia, this chart from Wikipedia. It's not no special chart. It's just the reality of the chart. If we want to compare cultures, the writing system, this is Cherokee compared to ancient Hebrew. We're comparing them. We compare the feast, the culture. vowel patterns. Even the guy that talked about Udo Aztec language and Hebrew, he's been rebuked and confounded. You know what I'm saying? But that I'll get into that another time because I'm not a linguistic guy. So when Cherokee had festivals, you compare these festivals with the Hebrew festivals and see if there's a connection. So you want to look at all these festivals and see what they mean. Nisan 14, is there a Cherokee festival that's around Nisan 14, around the time of when we do Passover? What about unleavened bread? Is there something that they're celebrating? Do we see a connection with these dates? Certain dates are always universal, like with Egypt. You know, you have the equinox, the summer equinox, you have the winter solstice. So you know those things are universal throughout the world. So if people follow those, you know there's no real connection. That's just life. They have a spirit animal in Cherokee. Do Israelites have spirit animals? How many days in a Cherokee week? These are basic things that could show a connection. If they have a 7-day week, did y'all know that the Akan people in Africa are the only ones that have a 7-day week? Everybody else have a 4-day week or a 5-day week or a 3-day week. The Akan have a 7-day week. Ghana people, 7-day week. Or the ancient Ghana or whatever it is the Akan people come from. These people here, the Cherokees, they have what they call a 13-day week. When they have the 12 tribes, they have 7 clans. Long hair, bird, blue, paint, wild potato, wolf, deer. You start comparing all these things to see, like, is there a connection? Cherokee final word, relationship between man and animals, marriage between humans and different species, some myth connected to traditional religion, rituals, dance, music, songs, and trance. Female deities like Big Turtle. Big Turtle in the Hebrew doctrine or in their culture. I gotta make a video on this also because brother Gorilla Hebrew brought this up during the debate, and I wasn't familiar with it in our debate. But when I researched it, I realized what happened with Chief Joseph and the Assyrian tablet. But it does have to research stuff, and I gave it to Iuic before the debate, so before our debate, so he didn't bring it up. He was smart because I had it ready for him. I told him. I mean, Iuic is good peoples, man. He listened. Etymology of Cuba, Mexico, and Haiti. I'm not even going to get into this foolishness right now. But this is what I really wanted to show you guys. This guy, the origins of Judaism, the 7-day week. Let me see, dietary laws. Well, pretty much origins of Judaism is the book. Jonathan Adler. The other day, I had Priest Daniela screaming at me on Clubhouse. How do you know that the army members wasn't, bruh? You know, one of the craziest things about Hebrew Israelites, they love to talk about we in captivity, right? What's the difference between the captivity? If we're in America, they say that we're in captivity right now. What's the difference between America and when we was under the Persians? What's the difference? All right.
You mean I've never heard this before? One more for the playlist, tell them what it do. Cool, thanks, kudos, real talk, not for the pseudos. Trust the kid, real talk, I debunked the myth. Sit still, don't run from this. That's a wise man told me. Watch for the fakes and the phonies. You gotta be cautious, listen and open your conscience. People be talking at nonsense. One of the biggest mistakes you ever could make is disrespecting the greatness. You mean I've never heard this before? One more for the.
All right, I just got confirmation from my big bro Don Law. In the Babylonian Talmud, the planet Saturn. Hold on, let me put it on the screen. So the brother was correct, but it's in the Babylonian Talmud. It's not an ancient source. The source is the Babylonian Talmud 156a about the Sabbath star. Laugh out loud and blur vision. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was Don Law. Oh, he funny. Don Law is funny, yo. You funny. I'm going to get you when I get on Clubhouse. I'm going to cuss you out for that. All right. So that's in the Babylonian Talmud. Shout out to my brother Don Law for that. And one of the things that a lot of Israelites say is referred to as Shabbatai, which can be interpreted as the star of Shabbat. Okay. All right. Thanks for the clarity, bro. All right. So now, one thing that they like to say is that we're living under captivity, right? So under captivity, what were we doing? We're under captivity right now. So the Jews under the Persians, what was captivity like? You had a guy with a gun on every corner. What's the difference in the Persians now and now? What's the difference? Okay, they call it David Star. All right, cool. I got you. All right. So now, family, let's take a look at what Jonathan Adler has proposed. This week, this is July 25th, 6:31 a.m. This week, I presented a paper entitled, "When Did the People of Samaria Begin to Observe the Laws of the Torah?" at the 11th Congress of Society et Today Samaritanins, held at the University of Hamburg. Now, in my recent book, The Origins of Judaism, right? That's the book that I just showed y'all in my slides. An archaeological historical reappraisal, I explored the question of when Judeans began to observe the laws of the Torah on a widespread societal level. Now, that would mean, like how the Jews in Israel today are the Jews in America, or the Israelite brothers and sisters here in America, the claimants would claim that when was it practiced widespread or societal level? Now watch this. He said, my conclusions were that no compelling evidence for such, whether archaeological or historical, has survived from any time prior to the middle of the 2nd century BC. Now, Takataza, Priest Daniela, Yawasap, Pana, I think a brother from Tab, I forgot what his name is. A couple of brothers that do research and read books. This is a healthy, heavy claim. He's saying that he has not found archaeological or historical evidence prior to the middle of the 2nd century, 150 BC. Tentatively, I suggested that perhaps it was only solamente en español, under the Hasmoneans, that the Torah was widely adopted as the law of the land. This is a heavy claim. This is saying, ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, in Judah, he's not talking about Northern Kingdom now, because in his research of the Sumerians, he's talking about Northern Kingdom. In Judea, they wasn't practicing the laws. There was no widespread use of the law, archaeological or historical. In my present paper, I propose posing a similar question regarding the origins of the Torah observance among the Samaritans as a society. All right, let's leave all of that alone. Let's scroll down on his post. You're going to see a familiar guy on his post. Look at what Garfield says. Peace, Jonathan Adler. I don't remember you mentioning Mesad Hashevayu Ostrakhan, dated to around 630 BC. Now, this is Garfield challenging in a respectful way the scholar on his thesis. All these scholars know me, inbox me. We cool. We mad cool. Right? We're not friends, but we cool enough to have a conversation. Now, look at this now. I'm representing Hebrew Israelites right now. Because I'm like, oh, you going to say that? That's a heavy claim. I said, I don't remember you mentioning Mesed Hashevayu Ostrakhan, dated to around 630 BC, and its supposed reference to the Sabbath. I have not read anything recent on this particular Ostrakhan. Can you elaborate on why this would not qualify as evidence? Thanks. I remember one day on Clubhouse, I mentioned this, and I had to send the source to my brother. What's his name? What's the brother that can speak the language pretty good? Yoshi Yaro. Now I have to change my position because look at what he says. This is the scholar. He said, great question, Garfield Reed. While some have vowelized the word on the Ostrakhan as Sabbath, other scholars have argued that the word in question should be vowelized and read as my rest stopping, or as a colloquial term meaning time off or quitting time, and that the inscription accordingly has nothing to do with any putative Sabbath prohibitions, even if the word were to be vowelized, as the term may simply refer to a chronological marker or holiday, not necessarily the seventh day of a recurrent 7-day week. And certainly the Ostracon implies nothing about work or any other activities being prohibited at such time. I've written about this here, such and such, such and such. All right. So we got a response. And I got to say this to everybody, man. Listen, family, listen. I'm going to research this some more because I have the article. And if anybody wants the article, I'll send it to you. Or it's on my timeline. Let me like the response, by the way, too. I'll look some more further into it. He beat me up. But the point I'm making is what he's saying is a problem. What he's saying is a problem. Now, look at this, family. Shout out to Brother Reggie in the building. I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't have no evidence, no evidence at all of Judeans practicing Torah, the law, because you know what they bring up, right? They bring up elephantine. Look at what he says in his book. I clipped some of his book in my slides, right? Look at what he's saying in his book. This guy's talking with his chest out. The earliest surviving attestations of the 7-day week itself date to the late 2nd century BC in calendrical and liturgical texts from Qumran and in the Septuagint version of Psalms. They stress that prior to the 2nd century, we lack any evidence that the 7-day week was ever used as a unit for reckoning time, whether among Judeans or among any other groups. Events in the Hebrew Bible are dated accordingly to the day of the month or a specified year, but never according to the day of the week. Similarly, documents from Elephantine are often dated precisely according to the Babylonian or Egyptian calendars, but never according to days of the week. Not Garfield. He goes into the dietary laws. Remember, me and just clashed about this. He's saying, this is what my brother Priest Daniel is saying, how do we know it's not the soldiers that was eating this? You have over 34. This is how they know, Priest. They have over 30 different sites. Some of them date from the Bronze Age, come all the way down. So they're showing a cultural connection from all the way back in the Bronze Age, come down to the Iron Age. Different sites, over 30 different sites of people eating catfish. Some of them eating pork. Some of them eating all type of food that they shouldn't eat. So it's showing that there was not a widespread following of the law per se. But then their response is going to be, well, that's why God punished us. But what if the laws were never known at all for them to be punished? That's just as somebody telling a story later on. That's what the Bible is to me. Now, this is why I really believe that the Hasmonean time period, there's a lot of changes that was made to the text. They have old traditions that they remixed and made into one book. There was no one book, no one Tanakh. People running around with one whole blood clot manuscript or sheepskin with no Bible or right on it. Nobody know that. But later on in the Hasmonean period, we see that people now eat pork. Them not eat the scale fish no more. Them not eat them not eat the catfish no more. Them not eat the pork. You see the rubbish containers throwing away different things. In certain neighborhoods, they don't have it. So it was the law of the land during the Hasmonean period. It was. But before that, we don't see it. That's a problem. We are going to have to come up. I got to be on the Hebrew Israelite side on this one. We are going to have to come up because if you don't find anything, it's possible that there's none to find. And if there's none to find, what are you holding on to? So with the brother who was arguing with me, 12 tribes or whoever, is saying that the people was, the Africans had Judaism. African had Judaism when? Everybody's a convert. Whether they're white, black, red, yellow, or blue, they are converts to this form of Judaism that you see from the Second Temple on. In fact, I'll go as far as saying the Jerusalem Temple, Kirbet Kephaya, that my brother Gorilla Hebrew talks about, right? And you have other places. You have Ramet Rahel. A matter of fact, if Priest Daniel is listening, that's one of the areas where they found Ramet Rahel is one of the places, Rahet Mahel, or whatever it's called. It's one of the places that was built up that was known in the Persian period that they actually checked and found these type of things there. So we're talking about people who were actual Jews. So there's Jews all over the neighborhood who are eating pork or eating bad fish or eating whatever they're eating. Substantial quantities of scaleless fish remains in archaeological levels dating from the Iron Age through the Persian period at Jerusalem and at sites throughout Judah suggest that during these periods, Judeans were not practicing avoidance of fish species that came to be prohibited in the Pentateuch. So they're finding that prior to the 2nd century BC, there exists no surviving evidence, whether textual or archaeological, which suggests that Judeans adhere to a set of food prohibitions or to a body of dietary restrictions of any kind. If what this guy is saying, let's say his hypothesis is true, that means we've been studying the Bible wrong the whole time. That means Russell Gmerkin. That means T.L.T. Thompson. That means Lemche. That means him right here, Jonathan Adler. That means Gad Barnea. That means what's the gentleman that wrote the book? Hold on, I got it right here on my computer. Hold on, where's my books? Ebooks. Where ebooks at? Hold on 1 second, family. Oh, I can't find it. The gentleman that interviewed me, I said he wanted me to come speak at Emory University to his students. I'm gonna find it right now. Jacob L. Wright. Why the Bible began. The one that me and the guy was arguing about on my last show. It means that the academia, this is what I'm saying, they're moving towards a direction. They're moving towards a direction where the 12 tribes concept was invented after the exile. Genesis to Deuteronomy was written after the Babylonian exile, or completed after the exile, or rehashed after the exile. We must realize in the Hellenistic period, this is what Russell Gmerkin is saying. He's saying that the Hebrew Bible was written, then they wrote another version right away in the Greek. I don't think people understand what he was teaching. Russell Gmerkin was so smart, man. It's crazy. He was crazy smart. So this is why Berossa's prophecy about Nebuchadnezzar is the same as in Ezekiel and Jeremiah, because he has a book coming out named Jeremiah and Berosus, or Kings and Berosus. He already wrote about Jeremiah and Berosus, how they were writing from the same script, because Berosus also got the Nebuchadnezzar prophecy wrong. I see my brother Iuic says he wants to debate this. I got time for this, man. I hate to beat up on my friends, man. I hate to debate people who I like. This is why I take so long to debate Priest Daniela, because I actually like Priest Daniela. And he thinks he could win, but you're not going to win that King James debate, man. If I lose that debate, that'll be my last debate, yo. Last debate. King James, was he a black man? I'd probably let me see who would go first. The pro. Well, he's pro. I'm con. So he would go first. Yeah. Don Law, you know the earth is a pyramid, right? According to Pseudosciences University. Yeah, I think this changes the whole game. You know, when we think about Josiah, another king that nobody knows. We gotta, I don't know, man. Primary source says so. Pseudosciences, get your ass on stage. Cause you just playing games right now. But listen, I got 36 more minutes, man. Whatever y'all want to talk about, just let me know, man. If not, I'll play some videos or whatever. Just let me know what y'all want to talk about. If there's a topic y'all want me to touch on, we could get into it. I think hold on, when is this video? Oh, Gorilla made a movie. All right, hold on there. I think that's a yeah. Who are you in the chat, my brother? Peace and love to you, by the way. Who are you in the chat?
This Lance, bro, was good.
All right, you was commenting in the chat.
Hold on, let me turn this up. Bro, was good. Yeah, primary source. Memoirs of John Mackey states that his whole cabinet is black.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you a simple question, right? You said, what did any record say King James was black?
Yes. So
right.
here's the deal. Let me say this. After looking at his entire court and seeing even his grandson, his son, his great grands, all of them are black. The woman that he's with is a mulatto, so we know that they're black, bro. His father is called the Black Boy. I have a portrait drawn of him.
His father was not called the Black Boy. His son, Charles II, Charles I's son was called.
His father. His father was called.
Show him prove that. Show him prove that.
I'll get it for you.
All right, let's do one thing real quick, right? Let's do one thing real quick. And Priest Daniel already saw this already, so I'm not hiding nothing. Let's go to etymology definition right here real quick, right? Let's go to the dictionary real quick, right? I'm gonna show you something really. Matter of fact, let me show you live.
We've been through this. Why don't you use the dictionary, the English dictionary from that period?
Let me show you live, brother. Do you have a dictionary from that time period?
I do. I have a PDF.
Let me up and share your screen. Let's look at the word complexion real quick. Are you going to talk about John Mackey and complexion? Have you ever heard of the humoral system? The humoral theory. Have you ever heard of that?
Only from you. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. All right. If you look at this word right here, right? It says from mid-14th century. Everybody read along with me. Complexion. It says temperament. So now what does your temperament have to do with your actual physical body? Because complexion, and let me finish, brother, before you interrupt. Complexion today didn't have the same meaning back then. All right. Then it says temperament, natural disposition of body or mind. Your mind don't have a color. So it's not talking about the complexion the way we see today. From the old friend, complexion. But this is where we get them now. Combination of humors. That's the Greek system. That's the Greek system Garfield has been teaching the last year or two. So I had to find this out and start studying what these words meant in the past. So when you're reading it, I would believe that King James is black based on the fact that all his ancestors, his descendants are saying that they are black complexion. But the black complexion didn't necessarily mean their actual complexion. It had a meaning behind it. So the only reference you could bring up that's very controversial is when Charles II was wanted and they call him the tall black man. But how I kill you now is, and I'm gonna kill Priest Daniela, I'm gonna bring out the pictures of him, authorized pictures that he had, that he authorized, that showed him being a regular white man. He authorized these pictures. So you can't say that. Hey, what's up? You can't say that because now you're gonna see, wow. So what we're gonna do, family? We're gonna play a game that all these pictures were whitewashed. You have no evidence any picture is whitewashed because you believe that the stuff that the elders repeated about in the Thomas Cromwell did this and all is not total nonsense. Total nonsense. But let me finish reading this. It says right here, I'm gonna ask you one question and then I want you to give me back the mic. What does combination of humors mean?
I don't know. Go ahead.
All right. Let me do this right here.
Hold on. Let me stop, bro.
No. Let me finish.
Pay attention to you. I was looking for the source. Let me turn it on so I can see what you're doing.
All right, cool. So I asked him, and I'm asking everybody in the audience at the same time, what is the combination of humors? Let's look at what humors mean. And before that, if you notice, it's making sense. The Middle English sense is from the old medicine notion of what? Bodily constitution or general nature resulting from blending of the four primary qualities: hot, cold, dry, or moist, or humors, blood, phlegm, color, or black color. The specific meaning, color, or hue of the skin of the face developed when? By mid-15th century. In medieval physiology, the color of the face was believed to be caused by the balance of humors in the body and indicate your temperament or health. So the word is used in the sense of the state of being complex. But ladies and gentlemen, all I'm saying to everybody is when somebody talks about your complexion, you have to know what context they mean. All right. So when you see black complexion, it don't necessarily mean black complexion. It could mean that you're ill. It could mean that the person is evil. It could mean a lot of different things. It don't necessarily mean that. And how we look at it, we look at the English influence in the Western world. In the book that I have about the color constitution, it talks about black people having yellow complexion. It had to do with our behavior. It didn't have nothing to do with how we look. So they're called, and then we have people who have pale complexion who are black people. We have pale complexion people who are black. Why are they called pale complexion if they're black? So you see, it's confusing. For me and you, I grew up in the Western world, right? America has their school system. Jamaica has a school system that adopts kind of England sometimes, but it's mixed with American. So when I'm growing up, I never heard, my mother was an English teacher. My daughter is now a teacher. When I asked her about it, my daughter, she never heard this before because this is not taught here in our world. So when we're reading the sources, or even J.A. Rogers, who's a great researcher, we fully couldn't comprehend it because we never understood the culture. So when we say black complexion, we automatically, oh, they black. They black. We automatically say that, but we're incorrect. So now, let me just show humors for 1 second right here live while we live on stage. Humors, early 15th century in physiology and medicine, relating to the body humors, characterized by abundance of humors, a native formation from humor or else form medieval like humorous. In Shakespeare, also whimsical, full of fancies, ill-humored, peevish, moody. But this, again, this goes back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Greek system of humoral. It's called a humoral theory. In old medicine, any of the 4 body fluids, blood, phlegm, color, and melancholy, or black bile, the human body had 4 humors. See? I didn't make it up. They're saying this is based on how your temperament or if you're sick. See, phlegm from the brain, yellow bile from the liver, black bile from the spleen, and blood come from the heart. Galen and Aventia attributed certain element qualities to each humor. Blood was hot and moist, like air. Phlegm was cold and moist, like water. Yellow bile was hot and dry, like fire. Black bile was cold and dry, like earth. In effect, the human body was a microcosm of the larger world. So this is how they used to use these colors back in the days, and this is how we got to go back and try to figure out what they were meaning instead of we running and say, hey, that person is black. They said the person is black, but why the person translator use it, we don't understand what they mean, because black can also mean dark, and dark don't have to be dark as in me and you. So it's kind of funny. I'm going to say this. I'm still learning it. I don't have all the answers, but I have some of the answers. All right? Go ahead, my brother. The floor is yours.
So I want to ask you this. So you submit to that. I've shown you this book before several times.
Which book is this, my brother?
This is the Memoirs of John Mackey.
Yeah, I could put it on the screen if you want me to put it on the screen. I have all the stuff for him. But it's all right. Now let me ask you.
Hold on. Let me say something
before you go. I'm gonna let you go. As a matter of fact, go. I don't want to interrupt.
So in the book is called The Memoirs of John Mackey.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. All right. And it's hold on. It continues. Let me bring it up. It says the secret service of John Mackey during the reign of King William, Queen Anne, and King George I, including the true history and rights and promotions of the English, Scots nobility, officers, civil, military, naval, and other persons of distinction from the Revolution in their respective characters at large, drawn up by Mr. Mackey, pursuant of direction of Her Royal Highness Princess Sophia. So this book is a description. So he's a spy, and his job is to convey the description, where they sit in rank, their connection to the court of King James.
Mm-hmm.
So when they give in a description, the description is complexion, because it's clearly talking about complexion as in the color of their skin.
Okay, go ahead. Read the first one.
All right, I'll go to 1. I'll go to
what's the person's name who you're describing? Because I'm going to Google that person and we're going to look at what the person looks like according to what Google says. All right, what's the person?
So all right, watch this. So Daniel Earl of Nottingham.
Hold on. Daniel Earl of Nottingham.
So this is the point that I need to convey. That however you go in, when you go and look them up, according to English or American, I should say American doctrine, he's going to be a white man.
No, you can't. See this.
No, wait a minute, bro. We got conquered. We've been
hold on a second. I want to ask you this because I want you to have the floor. The floor is yours. If I may, I'm just going to share my screen. Daniel Finch, 2nd Earl of Nottingham. Is this the same guy that they're talking about 1647 to 1730?
Daniel Earl.
Yeah, he's an Earl of Nottingham, 7th Earl of Winchester. Is this the same person?
Finch, that's Mr. Finch's son.
I know, but he's the 2nd Earl of Nottingham. Is he the right person? Daniel, 2nd Earl of Nottingham.
Yes. No.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it is.
All right, hold
It
on.
is.
Hold on. Who is the first? The first Earl is right here. Heneage.
Yeah.
You see, this is the problem, right? Now, you're saying that we're conquered. When were we conquered? Because you're connecting yourself to these people. I don't know why. But let's say, so this picture here.
I'm a part of the people that conquered.
Hold on a second. So these people right here, I just want to make it clear to you. These pictures are fake. Am I correct?
Yes.
How do you prove that they're fake?
Okay. In a debate, easily. I'll do that.
No. We don't need to debate. I'm asking you now because I'm not going to debate you. I'm going to debate Priest Daniela. Priest Daniela is making the same argument. These are whitewash. How do you know they're whitewash?
Because they're painted all around the same time. If you look at the time frame and you understand the history of America, you can see that clearly this is a whitewashing done.
All right, let me ask you a question, right? Let me ask you one question. I'm going to go to this slide right here. Real quick. I'm going to show you a slide what I did with Priest Daniela.
Well, I should read the description first, shouldn't I?
No. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Yeah. Go ahead. Read the description. Go ahead. Read the description. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll just go. You want me to go to I'll just go to the description. He hath also an exterior air of business and application enough to make him very capable. In his habits and mannerism, very formal. That's what you was talking about. It goes on and says, a tall, thin, very black man, like a Spaniard or a Jew, about 50 years old.
So its description is a tall black man. Okay.
So in his habits and mannerisms, in his habit and manners, he's a very formal person.
Yeah,
that's all right. But it goes on, and now we're talking about his look. He's a tall, thin, very black man, like a Spaniard or a Jew. Now, through the whole book, it's tall. It got several people who was considered a pale in complexion or sanguine in complexion, but they all have they say he's business credulous. He's not one for business. So their mannerisms are described. But then it goes on to a height.
His mannerisms is different than his temperament. That's different than his temperament. So you say it's a black man. Now, this is a description, but you do know that there was no race, was not a social construct at the time. So black don't mean the same way how black mean to me and you. No, you don't. No, you don't.
I do. Yes, I do.
If you did, hold on. If you did, you see, you want to, let me just say this to you. Don't interrupt me. I'm not here to win an argument with you because nothing that I say is going to convince you. All right. But let me just make that clear. The second thing I want to say to you is, if you know race is a social construct, because when you say black, you're talking about an entire race when you say black today. So you got to, bro, let me finish. I'm not arguing. Let me just finish. So when you say black today, I know what it means. But black then, race was not a social construct. So you have to read into it. You got to know that in England, they use the word Negro, Blackamoor, or Ethiopian to describe black people. They didn't necessarily use black at all times. They rarely use black to call black people, and they call white people black. Look at this slide that I made. This thing that I made, and everybody's laughing at it. How the guy is called Black Tom, and he's whiter than the whitest white man. But the point is, I'm trying to show you, you don't understand it. I don't understand the culture, and I'm just learning it. You got to get on page, bro. I'm not trying to defeat what you believe and understand, but why is it all these images are coming up of these white people? It's not because of people whitewashing, because you don't have no black picture to show anybody black, because they weren't black. That's the point. Even with King James, let's look at King James, because what Priest Daniel is going to have to do, and I don't care if he's watching, he's going to have to show a black picture drawn by an artist who was assigned by King James. I could show a picture right now, one picture I could show right now. and show you John de Critz. John de Critz was a sergeant painter for King James. John de Critz, right? And James, let me show John de Critz and King James. I want to show everybody what I'm Googling. So y'all could be on the same page. I'm just going to give you a quick example of something that you're going to see that you're making a hell of a mistake if you're trying to say you're a researcher. This is John de Critz, who was a sergeant painter for King James. This is the picture of him, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to look at this picture right now. Oh, come on. All right. Now look at this unable to open image. What the hell? All right, hold on. Let me get the image right here. All right, this image right here, family, was drawn because King James did not like to sit. He'd rather stand. And what happened is a lot of images are based off of this picture that John de Critz right. So this is what I'm saying to you. This is legitimate picture from John de Critz, who worked for King James. So you're saying that John de Critz, this is fake because he looks like a white man. You don't have you have no source for that. You can't prove that.
So if I can show you several so-called phenotypically looking Black King James, what's your argument?
All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at some. I got some for you. I got some for you right here.
Let me see.
I got some for you right now.
I'm looking for the stuff, so I'm trying to listen and look.
I got King James for you all day, bro.
Okay, go ahead. You're not gonna find King James on Google, my nigga.
I got you.
Yo, what up?
I got you. James the first. Hold on, I got you. I got you, James.
What up, Garfield?
What's up?
This is a conversation I'm very familiar with Lad. What up, Lad? Yo, crazy ass.
Right. So, so let's see what happened if you put in Black King James.
Hold on a second. I got you. King James.
Because he actually, Garfield, you could actually kill him with the pictures from the British Museum that you got.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's what it is. Don't worry about that part. Hold on. You know what I do? Let me go back to my presentation.
You play too much.
I got it right here. I got the pictures right here. Don't worry about it. I got them right here on my slides. I got it right here. So let me share my slides. Take this off. Right here. Here you go. This is the King James that you want. This is the Black King James you want. Am I correct? Is this one of them?
Yeah, I would have showed that. I got that.
All right. Now, who drew this picture?
It's on a book. This is not a drawing. This is an etching. This is an etching.
All right. So now
it's done on linoleum and printed.
All right. Now watch this. Very, very smart guy. Who was the guy that did this? This image right here that's on the screen. Who did it?
I don't know him by heart, but I got it's in a book.
So I know in the Patterson's book, but Patterson didn't do it. I want to know who did this. Who is the guy that did this edging? This.
More importantly, is when was it done? What year was it done?
No, who did it is important. Let's take a look. It says it right here. Right here. Simon van der Paas. See? It's 1619.
Okay.
All right. Now look at this now. Simon van der Paas also made this right here. Look at King James right here. Does he look black? As we says, lookership. What about this one right here? He made another one.
Yeah, that
what about hold on. What about this one?
Yeah, that doesn't look white either.
Oh, this doesn't look
No. Black people, bro, have black people normally have large eyes.
Bro, let me just say this for you carefully, right? Are you saying this guy right here looks like an average African American?
No, he's not African American. He's
listen. You're saying this guy looks like a black guy with red brownish hair, straight hair, and having this like a lumbar mustache.
Bro, my whole family is brown and reddish hair.
All right, now watch this. So this is the same guy that did this. And by the way, this is shaded dark because of what they use. It's an engraving. This is not a drawing. This guy was not licensed by King James. That's another thing. Who authorized this? Was this an authorized image of King James?
Right. So
let's take a look. Let's take a look at someone else now. This is the other picture right here. So you're telling me that this black man right here, because the ones that the Hebrew Israelites have on Google shows him darker. This is actually from the original picture, the image that's on the website.
Yes, all those are engravings.
Okay, now show me the picture that you said he's black.
Okay.
This is another guy, by the way. While you look for that, James III, that they said this guy, there's no records that this guy is James III, but this one website has it. All of a sudden now, this guy, they're circulating all over. Because it's a priest that, I didn't know Priest Daniel was the guy with the King James when I originally met him. You know. He was the guy. And when I went through his slides, I saw so many things that was incorrect. But the issue is, his description is in the thing. So his description actually, it don't fit it 100%, but it actually fits him. They're saying this is fake because the guy is light-skinned. But what does the description say about him? You see, that's the key issue here. How are we going to say this guy is fake and say, oh, it's all fake. This is the right guy. But this is what the source says. The source is describing it as somebody with a long, the complexion clear, but borders on paleness, the forehead very broad, the eyes fairly large, blue without sparkle, da 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 da. Again, it fits more of this than it fits this. Nobody, where is the records? Is this person being James or whatever the third? But we're obsessed with blackness. So when we see the word black, we jump out the window. I have hundreds of examples of people being called black who are white. I have hundreds of examples of people being called white, pale complexion, and they're black. So how are you going to tell me, oh, well, they're describing him, they call him the black man. Yeah, they call him the black man because he's probably dark. Not usually as light as how white folks are. Because even when his mother described him as a black boy, he's this and that. She said, I'm going to keep him inside until he gets a little lighter. So what she was going to do, bleach him? This is crazy. They call blackness is different in those days than today. And that's our obsession is. Everybody have to be black. That's why we teach the Celtics is black. The Druids are black. The Gauls are black. This is black. That's black. I don't know. What is it doing? So you're telling me all these black people rule in the 17th century. We are being enslaved by these same people. Charles II, who we say is black, is one of the orchestrators of the Royal African Company and the London Company and whichever company who enslaved us. So you're saying that this Israelite king enslaved us to bring us here to fulfill prophecy? Is that what you're teaching? I'm trying to figure out, why do they have to be black? What is the obsession? This is craziness. Here's another craziness with Priest Daniel. Priest Daniel brought out that I just realized. I agree there's a possibility that Charlotte has African in her. She's mixed. It's possible. But the same guy that drew her, that he shows, is the same guy that drew this picture of George, but it's fake. This image is fake, but this one image of Charlotte that he showed, this one right here, is real. The same painter. The same painter drew her. But the same painter drew George III here, it's fake because he's white. But this coin, who none of them can fucking know where it come from, is King George III. This is craziness. Y'all is obsessed. Then I had to pull out this book here, the British Commonwealth, which I got for free on PDF, showing where the coins come from. It come from this guy named Philip Gibbs. See the coin right here. None of the coins say he's the king. Nowhere does it say that. Then you have George III right here. Right here. This is George III on his coin. Doesn't this look like this? I mean, it's crazy. We obsessed with being black. For what? What is it doing? It's killing us. That's why we look stupid in front of everybody else. So you arguing and saying the black man, I understand and respect where you're coming from. Then you said, hey, this says black man. I have no problem with that. What all I'm saying is, bro, I could give you this book right here. I'll email you this book right now and let you go and study it for yourself. This book right here.
Right Did he run?
Colonial Complexion by Sharon Black. I emailed her. If you want to, I'll set up an email where we could talk to her and she will teach you about colonial complexions, how they call black people yellow complexion and all type of craziness. It's craziness. It had nothing to do with our skin tone. It had something to do with our behavior or if we were sick. So if they say right or whatever, they say you're sick. So the tall black man is different. No, that's different. I must agree with you that that's different. But when they call you tall black man, it could be because you have a darker shade than the light-skinned white people. Because if you look at their pictures, If you look at all of King Charles pictures, he's always the darkest white person. If he's like a brunette white person, brunette. He just came out with a different shade. And by the way, too, King Charles being black, don't mean King James is not white, because King Charles II could be a jacket. So even if I'm gonna say this for Priest Daniel if he's listening, Charles II don't determine if King Charles, if King James is white or black. What determines his whiteness, according to you guys, is Black Douglas and the Anglo-Saxons and that lineage that comes all the way down with the Black Douglas family and all that stuff, saying Black Douglas means black and Red Douglas means white. It's the craziest, bruh. Y'all teach some crazy stuff. And what happened is, this is why I have to prop up my chest like this and talk like this, because nobody has addressed y'all. So y'all feel like, oh, they can't come at me. Seti can't come. Polite can't come. Nobody could come at me because they never addressed this craziness. I'm the first. I'm looking on YouTube like, has anybody even addressed Priest Daniel and his presence? Like nobody's doing it because it's a waste of time. Nobody believes King James is a black man. Nobody, except Hebrew Israelites and probably some Moorish guys with some blackness. Nobody believes this nonsense. We are the only people in the world that believes this nonsense. It's craziness. It's crazy.
That part doesn't. Charlotte is an African either. She's supposedly.
This is the book with the author Sharon Block, and I think I sent it to Iuic already. Y'all gotta read these books, because these books are going into them calling yellow race and European descended people who are this, and then when we see the swarthy, swarthy means black, bruh, swarthy is just a complexion. It's just a stage. White, I don't think people realize this. White supremacy originated with the British. I don't think people understand that. They think they are the whitest of the white, and they're proud. Even if Priest Daniel read demonology, he talks about blackness in demonology, or he talks about blackness and talk about it in a negative light. It's all through demonology. I'm going to bring all of that during the debate. I don't care. I'm going to show Priest Daniel everything that I'm going to present. He's not going to win the debate. Because you can't prove. There's certain things you can't prove. You can just, they whitewash it. Where's the proof? Where's the proof they whitewash this picture? Every picture with the black complexion that the brother talked about, everybody comes out looking white. Why? It's a conspiracy from King James' father time, come all the way down, and then he said black people was ruling. How is it we're ruling and there's no records of your blackness? There's no records of it. And then you're going to take a writing that you have no understanding of to say, hey, you know what, they were black. This is craziness.
And that's what really bothers me with these conversations and some of these people that be making these claims, because they act like they study, but they stop at certain parts of their history. And as I've been doing, and I've been talking about the humors and airs, waters, places, and different papers from back in the day written by the Greeks and things that were attributed and calling people these words, black, yellow, swarthy, and basing it not off of their skin complexion, but off of their temperament.
Look at this guy right here, bro. I just do a video and tag you. You don't want the truth. You see, I told him, I said, it's not about you convincing me or me convincing you. Go back and study what these things mean. I'm the first person in the black community. None of the elders, not that I'm better than them, none of them ever taught me about the humoral process or the humoral theory of using the term black and yellow to describe people in complexion, meaning had to do with your temperament and health. I'm the first. I've never heard anybody teach that before me. Never heard anybody. I had to study and figure this out, because Priest Daniel was making a good point. He said, Garfield. So when he calls him a black man, and then when he was going back and forth with the Black Douglas, it clicked in my head like there's something more to this than what we're not getting. Because when the author said that the dude was a pale guy, they called him, what was the word that they used? They called Black Douglas some deal gray, extremely gray. But when you look at the ink going to omniglot, it says some deal gray means pale. So when the authors would rewrite and describe it, they say, yo, he was a pale man. And he's like, no, show me where they said pale. No, because when you see, if they call him Black Douglas and the black really mean that he's black, why didn't they just say he's black? It don't make no sense, priest. Some deal gray. Oh, well, gray could mean black. No, bro. Some deal gray is another way of saying that you're pale. This is how they wrote and how they... And by the way, to Priest Daniel, if you're listening, nobody in his country called him black. It was the enemies that called him black. Bling, 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 click in your head. In Jamaica, we have some people that they call, when you got to be left, to get the parents to pick up the child early, they would say, don't worry, you better hurry up and pick up your child because black heart man might get him. Black heart man, meaning the evil man. So when they call him Black Douglas, it's because of how evil and wicked he was in defeating and killing people off. Had nothing to do with his complexion. Or the name Douglas. The name Douglas, there's a definition for Douglas today. Let's read it. Let's read it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna smoke the shit out of him. Because what's gonna happen is that the people are gonna hear my arguments for the first, and they're like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Why every single picture is white? Why? And you got to show a picture by a sergeant painter, a court painter, or a king's painter. You can't show me no image and say, oh, the black man said this. Da, da, da. No, that ain't going to work with Garfield.
Yeah, and that's the other thing he expects us to do, just acquiesce to his faulty premises, as if we don't go further into these things, as if these discussions are new to us. Like I've been telling you for a while, bruh. You cannot take a picture and apply it and not know the literature and why they were using these terms to describe these kings, like Blackbeard. Why would they call him Blackbeard? Like,
all right, it's about to be it's a 4-hour mark. I'm about to get out of here, family. I want to say peace and love to y'all. I think I've taught enough for today. Next week I'll get into But if you look at all those people, and for those who don't know and you don't believe what Garfield is saying, and to the brother Pseudosciences University, everybody that you're gonna name in the guys, John, whatever his name is, right? And they talk about black complexion and black. Google the person and see how they look. So you said there's this major conspiracy to prove that he's not black. That means everything in history is wrong. From the 17th century, black people ruled. So you say it took them 100 years, 200 years. So and then the same people who helped to enslave us and bring us over here, you're on their side. You're saying that they are hiding the blackness, and they're the same culture that actually helped to actually enslave us. Bruh, those are some people I wouldn't even want to be associated with. That don't make no sense. Yo, self-hatred is a mother, yo. Oh, you did? I didn't know. Oh, I don't. You had told me to you went on a different name. I know who you are. Yeah, you told me to look up the word black in a different context, but you didn't tell. I didn't know about no humors. Actually, I had to study that. I didn't get that from you.
Yeah, I've been studying the humors for a while though.
Yeah, you told me to look up the word black in a different context. It didn't. You said in black, it didn't mean that in a certain context, but not. We didn't go into the humors and all that stuff. But thank you anyway, my brother. Bodily humors and complexion.
Yeah, that's where that whole disposition, that whole temperament being connected and shit comes from. And people making a mistake and trying to throw everybody into the black box because they probably called a few people or put that temperament or that word on them because they looked at them as an enemy or evil or dumb or whatever, wicked, ignorant. However they might have looked at these people, they might have called them black. And now because they called them black, that makes them black. Nah. No. I gotta grow up.
Yeah. But we gonna get into it. We're gonna definitely get into it. All right, family, I'm out of here, man. I'm good. I'm gonna put out some interviews in a couple of weeks, and I'll see y'all next week, man. On Friday, I might do some black people stuff, line of black people, and we're gonna get it right. All right. Peace and love to y'all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Peace and love, family. I'm out of here. Peace. Brother Reggie, peace and love to you, man. Peace.